Okay,
So so what
uh,
I was planning
I
on doing
I should be
was
live right now. I've got the green light, and you're telling me that when you play your song, it's not going to come through my audio. Is that what you're saying?
correct.
Well, give it a go, and we'll see what happens. Because honestly, Josh, if I can hear it, it should be picked up and
Well, that's what I'm
broadcast.
saying. You won't be able to hear it unless you're actually watching the YouTube video. Aaron,
Oh,
you want to back me up on this with what I'm saying? You know what I'm
well,
saying,
I mean,
Aaron?
if it's a technical,
Yeah.
if it's a technical thing, then okay, but whatever.
Yeah. No,
All right.
and seriously, I
Yeah, it's
don't
just
care.
the way he streams the music doesn't stream into the Hangout. They work separately. So what is heard within the Hangout is not heard on, or rather, if you hear it on the YouTube channel because he's playing the song through OBS or through his desktop, it's not going to show up in the Hangout.
Yeah.
He's just saying the music isn't going to play through the Hangout. It'll
Like
play through
Oh,
the YouTube.
oh, okay. So, all right. So since we're chatting through the Hangout and my OBS is picking up the Hangout, you're saying that your music is not going to broadcast through the Hangout. It'll broadcast on your channel.
Yes.
yes.
Gotcha. So I can actually switch over to your channel. I should be able to switch over to your channel and pick up the audio.
Yeah,
And,
that'll work.
And as long as you're okay with me broadcasting that in that way, let me
Yeah,
see.
sure.
Yeah, okay. So you're cool if my stream picks up your audio on your song. So I'm not seeing you live right now.
Not yet. No, it's because what I was gonna do so that I was just gonna back out of this Hangout call, play the song, jump in, um, after I say welcome to the 13th hour, and then I'd jump in, and then we would all be here.
Okay, so you're not going to hang up the call. You're just going to jump out on as your own.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang up the call just for a minute because you guys will still be here.
Okay.
And
He's
then
just leaving this call and then he'll come back into it.
and then I'll come back
Okay.
once the song's over. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm already live right now. So
Okay.
so what I'll do is I'll just wait for you to go ahead and get up and running live.
Yep.
And then I'll switch over my audio to your channel and I'll pick up your audio there. So so you're going to be live what in a couple of seconds, right?
Yeah, as soon as I get out of this call, I'm gonna go live.
All right, fuck off.
All right, I'll be back in a minute.
All right. So let me see. I'm going to open up a fresh page. I'll go to my channel. I don't like the way sometimes it shrinks down like big time. I don't like it when it does that. So I'll go over and I will just do it now. Nice and big icons.
You got some shrinkage there, Rufus.
It's cold. it's winter. What can I say? Hey, oh. Yeah, okay, so I should, yep, I am live. Let me just make, okay, I'm over here and I'll pause that video and a couple of people are already hanging out. Okay, cool. Well, Josh is going to be playing his music here in a second. And let me see, I'll check my subscriptions again. And any second now, Josh is going to go live. And when he does, there he is. I'll pick him up. I should be able to get the audio. Here we go. Oops. Right after the commercial. Sorry.
Hey, hi. This is Crystal Shaman. Just wanted to let y'all know I'm on here.
Hi,
Hey, Crystal.
Rufus and Aaron, how are y'all today?
Well, how are you?
Good, thank you.
We're good. And Crystal, just in case you didn't know, you know my first name, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Aaron.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, so we got two Aarons. All right, cool.
Yeah,
Double trouble.
Yes. And I'm Anna. So.
Well, welcome, Anna.
We're all A's.
Hell yeah. AAA. Need roadside assistance. We got you.
All right,
right.
so I'm on your channel now, you guys, and I can hear the audio. And if I can hear it, it should be broadcasting on my channel.
Okay, just so you know, Rufus, I'm on my phone, so I won't have visibility or
Well, you're
anything
on.
to any of that.
No, that's
I'm just on Hangouts. So.
yeah, that's totally fine. And by the way, your audio is excellent.
Yeah, I'm just, holding my phone up to my mouth. So. Yeah, this phone does pretty good.
It sounds great.
No, you sound you sound really you sound better than most, by the way. So yeah, good job.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing, it's working.
So we just stay on this call, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh will be back shortly. Once the little intro song's over.
Okay.
You like that syncopation, Rufus?
I know, right? Ooh, I like that.
Mhm. It's in 5.
What does that mean? It's in 5.
It's in 5/4. Means there's
Oh,
4.
oh, gotcha.
Alrighty, and here we are. Is everybody copy? Hello. Well, all right. Time
Loud
to
and
jump
clear.
in the hangout here, and we'll be live. All right. So, yeah, that song. It's actually. It started out with me just I sent Aaron a voice message of the rhythm that I was hearing. Hello. And we've been
Loud and
working on
clear.
it the past few days. It's in 5. The first part of it is. Yeah, that song. It's actually it's kind of an interesting little gig there.
Yeah, some of it's weirdly syncopated, so it was like hard to play on the keyboard.
Sorry if you guys heard any feedback, that was my fault. I didn't go run over and stop your video.
No, I didn't hear any feedback.
Okay. Well,
I didn't either.
probably on my end because after your music was over, your video was still playing, and then I was hearing a double.
Ah, I got you. No, so your audience would have heard it for a moment.
Yeah.
But we didn't hear it in here.
Yeah. So that's probably just my audience would hear it. Okay. Yep. We're good.
Well, welcome to the 13th hour, everybody. And Rufus, I don't know what you're calling your show right now. Is it still Conwick? What are you doing?
No, I called it Dream Stream.
Well, welcome to the Dream Stream, the Dream Team Stream, part 2. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited about this. So I'm just going to kind of back away. We have Crystal Shaman, who has just been kind of initiated into our little group cult here. And this is our first time actually voice chatting. So hello, Crystal Shaman. How are you doing?
Hey Josh, how are you?
Doing
Great to
well.
be here.
Nice to meet you, finally.
Yes, nice to meet you all.
Indeed. I don't know. I'm just going to
Likewise.
back away. You guys can say whatever you like to say. I'll just chill. Not
Well,
all at once.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm typing. Laz was asking me about how Crystal was able to join with her phone. So I'm just replying to Laz. I'm typing out right now, so sorry if I'm not
Oh, no worries.
engaged.
Aaron, you want to
Just
jump in? Or Crystal, you go ahead. Sorry.
regular phone. Have Hangouts app downloaded, and I communicate with the others via that app, and so the call came through on my, on a bar at the top, and I answered. That was it.
Yeah. So to
She answered the call.
So to answer Laz, he was asking because Laz, we've tried multiple times to get Laz on my show and on my streams,
Mm-hmm.
and he's usually working with his cell phone, and we've had
Mm-hmm.
some serious trouble getting him
Yeah.
to connect with us and whatever. But since I've been hanging out with Josh and downloaded the YouTube Hangouts app, which is completely separate from YouTube itself, it's
Yeah.
sort of an add-on to Google Chrome. Um, Here's what happened, just so that everybody in the audience understands. Um, YouTube is no longer powering the live stream. Okay, so when people do live streams, they're usually not doing it through YouTube itself. And that's what I understand.
Well, it's
Okay.
not totally accurate. They are still doing they have their own in-house stream, but you can't add people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're not doing it through the Hangouts app,
Not like they used
not
to.
like they used to. Okay, but the Hangout app is still an app, and it still works fine. It's
As
like
long as you're using an external program. Yes.
right. Okay, so we all have basically downloaded the Hangouts app, and we're all in the Google Hangouts group through the Hangouts app, and that's how we all communicate through the Hangouts app. Um, so what we're doing is we're broadcasting through OBS, which is a third-party software, and that broadcasts whatever we do. So I could switch over to Skype right now and broadcast a conversation on Skype or a conversation on Hangouts or whatever I'm doing. I could record just like I did my video earlier today where I took the piss out of Mike Morales, that sort of thing. My OBS software will broadcast whatever I'm doing, and right now I'm just having a chat on Hangouts. So that's how it works.
Yeah, and really, I guess what he might be asking is basically how could he get in? Like, yeah, all you'd have to do is have the Hangouts app on your phone, and you would join our group
Yeah.
or any group, and then anytime there's a call, you don't have to answer the call when it happens. If there's a call taking place, like I left and I came back to the call.
Right. You could just join the call.
Because people were already chatting, and
Right.
it's pretty easy. I mean, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get it, I mean, I've been using Hangouts for 6 years now.
It's
So.
very easy. It's almost like Google's answer to Skype. It works just like
Yeah.
Skype. You can have
And it used to be better.
You can have personal chats, group chats. You can call. You can phone Skype. You can share screens. It works just like fucking Skype.
Yeah, and it used to be a lot better. It used to be a lot cooler.
Well, but it's free, so hey, they give us what they give us, right?
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
So hey, Crystal, it's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, it's great talking to all of y'all. I've been trying to watch each person's channel some. So I was listening to something Influence did today.
Yeah, Influence has been a little bit slacking, but it's been holidays. I know she's been busy, so there's no hard feelings or anything.
Yes.
So when you say you've been watching what Influence is doing today, you mean today you've been watching Influence, not something that she put out today.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
something that was already on her channel.
Okay, cool. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't get a note. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, she had created music out of. She said she put 2 songs together. It's that video there.
Okay.
It's one of her recent videos.
All right. Yeah, it was just the way that you worded it. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't get a notification. What did she do today?
No, and I'm not subscribed to her. I need to subscribe to her. I think I'm subscribed to YouTube, and I need to look up Erin's channel.
There's nothing on it.
Oh.
Yeah, this is our channel. This is we run it together. So.
No, Influence. I haven't subscribed to her. I was just looking at her stuff today. I haven't really had a chance to just look at one video of hers.
She's an awesome lady, though.
She's got some really dope content too. Some of it is, I have to watch it over and over because it like goes way over my head. But it's all like really interesting information, and I have a lot of respect for her.
Yeah, you kind of have to have a fair amount of background to be able to keep up with what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I guess
She's way ahead of the rest of us. Anyway, Josh, why don't we start from the beginning, because for the
you read my
listeners,
mind.
for yeah, for the audience, and for maybe any new people, let's start from the beginning. What we're doing, why we're streaming, what we're talking about, what we're trying to do, and all that. Take the
Yeah.
floor. It's your show. Go ahead.
You read my mind exactly. That's exactly where I was going to go. So, to anybody new, and I somewhat recently made a Facebook, so I posted there too. I've been trying to reach out to just grow the channel, get our music listened to, and hopefully maybe we can find other people that are interested in this experiment, which is about a little over a month ago we decided. Rufus actually put it together, the idea that we would have an experiment where we try to meet each other in dreams and at a localized place, a specific place, which has been an iceberg. And I guess, to some regards, all seen an iceberg in a way, but we've had some hits on certain things about each other. Aaron has really done the most from what I've seen, but just in the process, we use this hangout to write our dreams every night. And probably Aaron and myself have been the most active just remembering them. And since I started doing this, my dreams have become tenfold more vivid and just next level. And I've logged every dream I've had for the past month plus. And we all have, and it's been rather interesting. We also have another side experiment, also via Rufus suggestion, basically taking either a photograph or a postcard or something of the matter, and writing a word on the back of it. And Aaron has, both of them have actually had semi hits on mine. I don't guess anybody's had any hits anywhere else as far as, I guess it's just Rufus and Aaron right now that have written something on a photograph.
No, wait a minute. Now I might have, we came close, right? I had pretty come I had
Yeah,
come.
I said you and Aaron.
Well,
Yeah,
you all right, well,
Aaron and Aaron, Aaron and Aaron.
yeah, yeah. Let's not forget that there are two Aarons. I'm Aaron, and you. Yeah, so there's me, and then there's your Aaron. So
Yeah. So girl Aaron and boy Aaron.
you can just say my Aaron, and then we'll know.
Or I'll just say Rufus. Rufus
I
and
belong to no man.
your mind woman. But yeah, so she has had she got mine the way I expected it and anticipated somebody to find it, which makes sense. We live together, we're very intimately connected, so it would make sense that she would be able to do things. We've uh gone pretty far, and Rufus actually was able to draw in certain things like color, and a corner kind of missing kind of thing,
Oh
which
yeah, oh yeah. We got to cover that. Absolutely, absolutely. We got to cover our hits.
yeah.
We've had some
But
hits. We've had some pretty damn close hits.
and we've even been so far as to where Aaron and I had a total hit on a dream together the same night, which was
See, that's the goal right there. That's the
Mhm.
whole. That's my whole goal. That was my whole experiment right there. Was to try to
Mhm.
have the same dream. It's not like it's not like having a dream and then telling each other, well, this is what I dreamed last night, and then somebody says, oh, really? Well, I had a dream 3 days ago. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
It's about like, holy fucking shit.
same
I
time, same night,
Right,
everything.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. That's the goal. The goal is that wait a minute. You saying that last night you had that dream? Because last night I had that dream. It was like, wait a minute, I was doing this, and you're like, holy fuck, there was this guy doing this, and I'm like, wait a minute, that was me doing that, and blah. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
goal, right?
Yeah.
That's the intention.
And Aaron and I, it would make more sense that her and I would have that kind of thing. We sleep in the same bed, so it's
Right, right.
um
You guys are connected, right?
we're connected. So uh, that one dream that I had, it was, I mean, I wrote it down. It was fucking like 2 pages worth of dream content. And but she had written hers first, and it was just a hit. And well, I guess we'll get to all that. Um, I don't know. I think that pretty much sums up my aspect of hello beginners, hello new people. I don't know if you'd like to add anything. Anybody else would like to add anything?
Sure.
And well, one other thing, and then Rufus also suggested Anna, Crystal Shaman here. and she's been in for about a week now, and we've just been kind of all getting acquainted and taking it from there. So take the floor.
So originally I tried this years ago, and I just simply tried to get a couple of people who were interested in the project, and that is the idea was that we try to have dreams with intention, and that is, every night when you lie down and you're about to fall asleep, that you sort of meditate on this one idea, and your goal is to meet up in a specific location. And right now we've decided on the iceberg, and that was Influence Freedom's idea. It was her idea to meet on the iceberg. So we've stuck with that. We're just gonna. It's a non-disclosed location. It's a location that probably nobody's ever been to, so which is good. I was going to suggest something like a landmark, like the Eiffel Tower or the top of the Empire State Building, the observatory up there. Like a tourist attraction landmark, something like that, that would be obvious that we could all identify easily. And Influence Freedom came up with the idea of an iceberg, and that seemed to suit us just fine. We've been sticking with that. So the goal is to have a dream and meet each other, literally meet each other on the iceberg. Or you have a dream and you're in a snowy, icy environment, and something happens, and you identify various aspects in your dream, and then you report that back to the group, and then the other members of the group can say, well, last night I had this dream, and I was in an icy environment, and I was doing X, Y, and Z. And then we can sort of collaborate and sort of corroborate each other's dreams slash stories, right? And we've had some success, some minor success, some minor hits, and some of them are kind of significant. Some of them are, they're in the realm of, coincidence. Like earlier, Erin said that she dreamt about a guy wearing a guy in red, wearing red. And I told Erin, and this was last time we spoke, and I told her that I usually, because it's wintertime, I usually wear an LL Bean red overshirt.
Now
So-
you got that wrong. She said she saw you wearing red.
Oh,
Aaron,
Yeah,
you
I
should
saw.
explain that one. Yeah.
I was on the iceberg and I saw you and Influence there.
And she
And you were wearing red.
the last episode she got a hit with what Influence looked like. She had never seen her.
oh. Well, shit. Maybe okay. Well, maybe I missed that.
Yeah, I saw it was the same dream. I saw you with your back turned, sort of, and looking back over your shoulder, and you were wearing it looked like a heavy red, maybe woolen or hoodie, like I don't know, it was just heavy red something. And then I saw Influence, and I saw that she had gold glasses and like faded blonde hair pulled back from her face. I got her hair color. I got her glasses. And then she sent a picture, and I like almost cried. You don't remember that? She like shared her picture, and I had like an emotional breakdown
Oh,
because
well,
I'd seen her.
oh well, I don't remember that part. I didn't know she shared a picture with you, and you had okay. So
Yeah.
then I guess, holy fuck, I guess I missed all that. Damn it. So yeah, I'm sorry. Damn.
No, that was intense.
I guess it
Yeah.
was more of a hit than I thought it was.
Yeah, I've had minimal iceberg experience, and I haven't since we first started. Like, I haven't had anything to do with an iceberg. It's still on my mind, but I've been going to other specific places that I have reoccurring, especially writing it down. I'm learning my places I go to in dreams. I'm learning that I go to habitual places for some reason, and Erin, she actually had another. I don't know if she put it in there. Oh yeah, because this all ties to my word, and I'm trying not to do that because you guys haven't found my word yet. Erin did it. She didn't find my word, but she found what my word was. If that
Wait,
makes sense.
wait, she did?
Yeah, she found what my word was with the intention I put behind it. She already knew what picture I used, so
Oh, okay. So she was a little bit front loaded.
she knew the photograph I used, but it had nothing to do with the word I chose. And I've hidden the photograph. Hell, yeah, I know where it's at. Shit,
Really?
I thought I
Okay.
forgot. I hid it, and she doesn't know the word I wrote, and she doesn't know where I hid it. So, and she showed me the photograph she used, and I have no idea. I guessed the word and I got it wrong. Um, but she found the item of my word, and I'm not going to give you anything else than that because I don't want to ruin it for you guys to
So
find it.
let's bring the audience up to speed. Um, what we have done is that we have each written on a piece of paper a word, and my suggestion was threefold: a word, a number, and a simple image. So, like a flower or something easy to identify, a simple
Yeah.
image, and then a short word, maybe 3 or 4 letter word, something easy to pick out, and then a short number, maybe 3 or 4 numbers, nothing large, right? Something easy to remember. When you have a dream and you see something and you wake up, you want to be able to remember it. So we don't want to be too complicated. So we've all decided to take a piece of paper and write down a number, a word, and maybe an image, either a photograph image or drawn image, like you take a Sharpie and you just create a simple image. Okay, so we've all done this. Okay, and so the goal is that the other members of the group in their dreams are to report back that they saw something and maybe they're able to pick out a number, a letter, or a word or an image that we have actually created. And we're documenting everything. So we've got the metadata to show and prove that this is not bullshit, right? So we're trying to keep this is why we do the hangout, is so that we can record everything in real
Yeah.
time.
And now Aaron and mine, it's easily skewable because we live together. We're
Right,
very
right.
close and intimate. So we're like I knew what her number was. I
Yeah,
was like, I
yeah,
just knew it.
yeah, but I'm not. I don't. Okay.
Exactly.
I want to
Exactly.
get to my dream. So I had this dream where I saw, because sometimes I have the ability to read things in dreams, and it's an acquired skill, and some of
Mhm.
us can do that, and some of us are not so good at it. So in a dream, some people have the ability to stop and read things like billboards and signs and maybe license plates or whatever. And so I reported to Josh, what was it, a week or two ago? And I said, look, I had a dream and I saw a sign and I saw a word and I got the word wrong, but I said that it was green. I said I got a strong indication that there was like a green border. And in my dream, one of the corners of the page, imagine a square page. It could be a rectangle, like like an 8 by 11, or whatever. They're square. Even though it's a rectangle, the corners are still square. One of the corners was missing. In my dream, one of the corners was missing. And I reported back to Josh. I said, I had this dream and I saw the sign and blah, 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 blah. And I got the word wrong. But then Josh reported back to me. He says, no, the word was wrong, but there's a lot of green in my
And I wrote it in green.
Uh-huh. So
Mhm.
you said there's a lot of green in my image, and one of the corners is torn or ripped off or something like that, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So it's like a double hit. I got a double hit.
Yeah, and honestly, y- you the idea of you said you saw something that looked like a 7 and you said a picture of a gun.
Right, right,
And
right.
that's not it, but I could definitely see how you could get a 7 out of it. And
Well, I saw a 7. I did
Mhm.
see a 7. That was what I saw in my dream. And then when you said no, it wasn't a 7, I made a guess. It was a post
Mhm.
hoc. It was more of
Yeah.
a post hoc thing because I know you, and I know that you're, pro Second Amendment. I know you got guns, and I thought,
Yeah.
okay, if I saw a 7 in my dream, 007, the 7 looks like a gun. I'm thinking, oh, okay,
Uh,
maybe you had a gun that was your image. You know what I mean? That's why it was just a guess. It was just a wild
yeah.
guess because
And
I thought,
yeah, that's a good guess. No, but I can see why you would think it's a 7. And really, see, I put intent behind it in a different way. I didn't pick I picked a pretty definite word that is a particular thing. It's a place It's not a place. It's a thing.
So
It-
wait. So wait.
FYI, during that conversation, Rufus said my word.
No, no.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, now
Yes,
I gotta
you
go
did.
back and look. Now I gotta go back and look.
During this conversation that you guys are having, you said my word.
Oh
Weird.
shit! Now I go. Oh,
And it's
fuck.
not like a normal regular. Well, I mean it is, but it's
I'd like to
Yeah.
add to this too. We haven't spoken verbally since the last hangout, which has been about what 2 weeks ago,
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks ago. So 3 weeks. We haven't at all audibly spoken to one another
what the
other than through text
fuck?
hangouts. I gotta
What
go
the
use the
fuck?
restroom real quick. But Aaron has had by far the most hits with
Oh yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, and me too. And me too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Aaron is on fire.
Yeah. And really, I've just been
She
having
is.
crazy fucking awesome dreams. And I've loved it. And that's one of the things Rufus called me the other night. Rufus did call me. We exchanged numbers, and he called me on my phone. And that was about a week ago. And we talked for about 30 minutes just shooting the shit. And we said we didn't want to miss some of the things we were talking about for the next broadcast we did. And this biggest experience, the best part of this experience for me has been the fact that it's made my dreams so much more vivid. I'm right on the edge of that lucidity. I haven't quite hit that lucidity again. I've done it in the past. I haven't been able to do it again this round, but it's really made my dreams hit so much harder. I've been like sick a whole next day from my dreams. It's been wild, and it's made me really appreciate it more, and just I'm stoked to be doing this. I don't see anybody else doing this. I haven't seen anybody else do it since
Nobody's doing
Robert.
this.
Yeah, and the last person that I can really quote doing this is Robert Monroe from the late 60s up to the 80s, and his experimentations. This is the closest that I've seen to it, other than a bunch of hokey nonsense, like a bunch of just, as Rufus likes to say, woo woo, people reaching out and like, they're not objective enough to make it real. They're too subjective in the way they express it, and they're a word that I like is they color it. And I think we've all kind of have the premise that we don't want to color anything with our own personal opinion or sway the truth in any way. So it's just we all trust each other kind of thing, to be honest, and that's something that's very important. I don't know, Aaron, you were talking. I know what you were said. Eventually, you wanted to read something or talk about something. It was like the club that was written about in Monroe's book. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
The secret organization that people don't even know they're a part of. You showed it to me, and I had read it, and I knew exactly.
I don't remember.
It was talking about the underground group.
Oh yeah, I don't know where the book is. I'll find it though.
Well, you don't need the book. You can just.
No, I need it. It's so beautifully worded. I'll read it at some point, maybe.
Okay, yeah. But no, I was just trying to segue because I need to use the restroom real quick. So you guys have at it for just.
But
a minute.
Rufus, you said my word. It's not the exact word, but it is phonetically the exact word.
Oh, that's
So.
even worse. Now you just sent me into the rabbit hole to hell.
Yeah. Godspeed.
So now I got to go back and listen to what I said and pick it all apart, phonetically and everything.
He's going to be awake all night.
You just ruined me for the next week.
I'm sorry, bro.
So
you said it though. It's crazy.
Damn it! Damn you!
My grandpa used to say, "Damn your time."
So Crystal, Crystal is a new addition to our group. Welcome, Crystal Shaman.
Thank you.
We accept you, one of us.
Thank you so much. I
Google
appreciate that.
gobble,
Google gobble.
Oh my God, you know that movie?
Yeah, freaks.
Oh my God, that's like one of those obscure movies, Google Gobble. You know that? Oh, what a reference. Awesome.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what a cool chick you are. Google Gobble, Google
Google
Gobble.
gobble.
One of us, one
Look,
of us.
we accept him, one of us.
So,
Now you
Chris,
seem so sweet, Crystal. I'm so excited you're here.
yeah,
Well,
welcome.
thank you. It is exciting to be a part of this. I think it's very interesting, and I myself have not seen anything like this either. So,
So, listen, Crystal, you and I have spoken in emails,
yes,
and you gave me a fairly good description of what you look like in the email. Okay.
yes,
So I
a
would
little
like
bit. Yep.
I would like for you to not divulge that information publicly.
Correct. Yes.
Okay? Because I have that information and it's in an email which has metadata attached, which means it's a timestamp. Okay? So
Yes.
we can prove that you said XYZ on this day and this date and this time.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody in our group, like Influence, who's not here, or Josh or Aaron or me, maybe not so much me since you told me, but if
Mm-hmm.
someone else in the group has a dream and they say, well, I saw this person and they look like this, XYZ, I can say, oh, are you fucking kidding? Because look at what she told me 3 months ago. You know what I mean? This is what she told me she
Correct.
looks like, right? So we're
It's
gonna
gonna happen.
so we're gonna keep
Yeah.
that part a secret, okay? Your
Yeah.
appearance.
There's the one thing that is very uncommon.
Oh
Very
yeah,
uncommon. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So there's at least one feature about you that is indistinguishable. Excuse me. It is what's the word I'm looking for?
Highly unusual.
It's unusual. Yeah, and it's
Unique.
definitely unique. So you have a feature about your appearance that is absolutely and definitely unique. And if somebody picks it out in a dream, that would be an absolute hit. Not a coincidence, but I would call it an
Right.
absolute hit.
Yes. Definitely.
Hmm. I'm excited. It'll make me more observant of the people in my dreams too. That's one thing that I haven't really like. I had the craziest dream. I have a couple of dreams that I didn't write in the thing because it's been so crazy because of the holidays. One of the dreams I had, it's weird that you were saying that there, like someone has a very distinguishing um, something about characteristic about them physically. I had this dream 2 nights ago where I was in a world where everyone in this world had something what would be considered unusual about them in our world. Um, so like a couple of the characters, one guy was like super, super tall and lanky, kind of like Ichabod Crane. And he had like a beak-like nose and really beady eyes. One guy was like 8'11". One girl had a hunchback and purple eyes, which I've been watching The Witcher, so that's what happened there. But but basically everyone in the dream had something about them that would, like be maybe undesirable even like in our world. And they were all basically like, you can have a transformation. Can you, my thing in my dream was my thing in my real life that I'm blind in my right eye, and that's not something anyone can see, but something I noticed. And they were telling me, like you can transform, you can change, and then you'll transcend and leave this world. And I was like, well, why haven't you guys done that? And they were basically like, we accept how we are and we like these things about us. And they were somehow simultaneously like afraid to leave, but also had overcome the desire to leave because they didn't feel the need to change things about themselves. I don't know, it was a weird dream. It all took place in this weird like planetarium or observatory where they were installing like a satellite that looked like an LED, like a huge LED. It was a
So,
weird dream.
Definitely a
so
unique
Crystal, you don't
dream.
have a hunchback, right?
No, no, sir.
No, that was from The Witcher. There's a character. She was in my dream.
Sorry, go ahead, Crystal.
No. I don't,
So
thankfully.
Crystal is the newest installment to our group, and she doesn't mind. I know Rufus, you guys met. I'd love to hear like your story, kind of how you came to us, a little bit of your background, if you're interested in sharing whatever you feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Crystal, as far as I know, was a subscriber of mine, listening to what I'm doing and when listening to our experience, my experience with you guys, and what we're trying to do. And it's something that she sort of latched onto and started connecting with me in comments. And then I shared my email, and then we started exchanging emails. And as after that, it was pretty much she showed a strong interest in being part of the group, and so I added her to the group, and here she is. So welcome, Crystal, and tell us, give us if you want to, give us some background or whatever.
Well, it's probably, well, the term awake that everyone uses.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably been about at least 5 or 10 years since I became aware of a lot of things that were what is really reality and what is not reality and what is true and what isn't. So I started doing a lot of studying, a lot of research into why I could, mm, let's just say, see certain things. But it was like I had a wall up and then it came down. So it kind of opened up some things for me in a lot of ways.
Was there a
And
particular catalyst for that?
yes. Yes.
There always
Um,
is.
Hey,
mhm,
Crystal.
mhm.
Um,
Yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. You're right in the middle of explaining
No, go
yourself.
ahead.
I have someone in my chat right now who may have an insight as to your appearance.
Okay. Well, I can't see the chat at the moment.
No, it's just
So,
this is my personal chat. It's on my channel, so if you're not watching my
mhm.
channel or whatever, um,
Yeah, I can't see anything right now except I'm just on Hangouts on my phone. I don't have visibility to
okay.
any of the, but you'll know, enough to know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't want to give it away. This is actually this. I think there might be a very close hit.
Well, keep it hidden because I still want to keep that.
And
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to give it away to the rest of our Dream Team group
Mhm.
here. But I think there's someone in our chat who actually had a very close hit on what you might look like.
Yeah, you and I can talk off via email about it, Rufus.
Well, I'm gonna send you an email right. Well, you're on your phone, so you can. I don't know if you can check.
Yeah, I don't have this. I can't get on anything right now because this is taking up my whole screen. I should have done a split screen before I
Okay.
answered the call. If I had, I could have probably had visibility to everything else, but right
Okay. Because
now I don't.
if I ask you this question, it'll give it away to the rest of the group.
Yeah,
yeah,
you'll just do it via email.
All
That
right.
way
All right.
it
So all right.
still
I'm
remains.
biting my tongue right now, big time.
yeah, save it
But
for
I
later.
won't be able to answer you until after we're off the stream.
Over eager.
I know, right? I know. It's a close. It's like super close. All right. But go ahead, Crystal. Finish. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay,
Go.
yeah, no worries. So what started the whole thing was, you know, well, I mean, different people have told me that I was born with certain abilities and such, but you know, I used to have, and I know this is controversial, but I used to have dreams, and then I would have deja vu feelings and feel like this is so familiar. Why is this familiar to me? And then I finally had a dream that I knew I'd dreamed, and it actually happened, word for word, the entire situation, the same people, everything exactly the same. So then I knew that it was a precog. So I became a little terrified, should I say, because I thought that if I could dream something that happened, then I could dream something bad, and that bad thing could happen. So I kind of put up a wall when I was young.
Hmm.
I was probably maybe about 16 when that happened.
So you were actually worried that you might dream something and then actually cause it to happen?
No, the fear was that if I could dream something of totally inconsequential, that I could have a dream that would be about something bad, and that would actually happen as well. And when you're
So
younger, you just kind of think, "Oh, wow, now I know I did dream this." So it just freaked me out a little, and I think it caused me to kind of put up a wall, a wall to block it, to block remembering my dreams or anything. So that happened. So, but as I got older, try to make this a little bit shorter, but um, I have some spinal issues, so I decided to go to free meditation classes at this lady's house. So I started going there, and in doing so, because I'd never meditated before, um, it kind of took the wall down. Now, having said that, it there was some experiences that were not pleasant, you know. Um,
Yeah.
one in particular, which I'm not going to go into details, but I was literally attacked. So um, that's what opened my eyes, that what you see in the physical is not all there is. There is so much more. We can only see a small fraction with our physical eyes of what actually does exist. So, you know, that opened my eyes in many ways. So that's what spurred me to start doing research and looking up, and other experiences happened as well. It wasn't just that one. And I was kind of shown some things that, mm, I don't know how to say it, but just capabilities and abilities just kind of shown. And the reason I think what opened up that was I started studying Veda, and I read a lot of Veda. And it was like the more I read of it, the more, I don't know how else to say it, but just the more I became aware that there was certain things I could do if I chose to do them, you know?
Right.
so do you by any I don't mind divulging this little gem of information. I'm having a conversation with someone in my chat right now about you and
Mm-hmm.
your some physicality about you.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have a birthmark on your leg?
Mm, I might have a small one, but I just can't think of it offhand. I'll have to. I don't pay attention to stuff
it,
like
it
that.
was
You
it
get
was
kind of
just
immune to it.
it was described as a
A
silver
silver
spot on
spot.
your leg.
Which leg?
Uh, the
Did they
the
specify?
no, it's
Oh, I do have a scar that is white looking.
you have a scar, a white-looking scar on one of your legs,
Yes.
and there's another distinguishing feature. Do you have a star in your left palm?
No.
Okay, sorry, Wee
No.
Tree, you missed on that one.
Mm, I mean, I just have the normal,
She said right leg.
lines,
She said
You
right.
know,
lines.
Wee
and I
Tree's.
have to.
It's Wee Tree. Wee Tree is in my chat right now. She's the one I'm talking about. What right leg? Is it your right leg? Is that the birthmark leg? The right
Um, n-
right.
no, the scar is on the left,
Okay.
on the inside. It's a white looking, it's a light color.
Well, the left or right leg to me is inconsequential, whether it's a left leg or right
Mm-hmm.
leg. That's inconsequential
Yeah.
to
Mm-hmm.
this kind of thing is like it's a dream for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? It's like all kind of weird stuff happens in dreams.
Well,
And
now and I'm a parrot for this shit. I just keep coming back to old Mister Monroe. Um, but anybody that hasn't read his works, he's got a trilogy, fantastic works. The farthest anybody has ever gone and written about it, about out of body experiences, and dreaming techniques. I mean, hell, they created the Monroe Institute, which is now it's not what it used to be. Robert Monroe's dead. Now it's kind of it's all about the money now. But in his
Hmm.
time, he was a very wonderful, down to earth, normal, practical man, and he had things happen to him. That kind of reminds me of what you're talking about, and that's Crystal or Anna. That I really think you would enjoy his works, just because of some of the things that you've talked about.
Hmm.
I myself have always grown up with the precognitive dreams, and for me, it was never inconsequential things. It was always the most awful shit.
So,
And
Crystal, is it the upper or lower leg?
Say
Th-
that again, please.
thigh or calf? Is it the upper or lower part of your leg?
Middle.
Middle?
Yeah.
Um, is it above the knee or below the knee?
It's at knee level on the inside of my leg.
Right at knee
You
level?
know, yeah.
Literally right at the knee?
Not at the front, not at the back, but on the inside of, my
But
leg. And
but
yeah, it's at knee level. It's
is
it's
it really right at the knee? Because I
yeah.
asked, is it upper or lower, and the description is that it's on your calf.
Mm, I do not have any silver that I know of. I mean, I have other things which I won't say, just in case somebody comes up with something else. But um, I'm literally looking around. I don't, except for that one that I'm
Okay.
talking about that's white
Okay. I was
and that
just
is at knee level.
yeah. Okay. I was just trying to pinpoint
So I'm
because
not sure on that one.
I'm getting specifics, and I just wanted to see if I can clarify, and maybe that somebody has something on you, whatever.
Hmm.
But
but
that's the goal of the whole experiment, is to try to have identifying features,
Hmm.
either physical features about each other, and that's why I set up the experiment where we create a piece of paper. You take a piece of paper and you write a number or a word, or you draw a picture, and it's something that we could put energy into, and then where other members of the group can have a dream and then maybe visit your location and say, hey, I saw this sign, and boom,
Hmm.
that's the number you wrote, or that's the picture you drew, something like that.
So did this person say the size of it by any chance?
Well, they're listening and I can ask. So it's like a 20-second delay. So Weetree,
There
how,
there is something else, but
okay.
I'm trying not to say because I don't want to
No, don't give it
mess
away.
anything
Don't
up.
give it away.
Yeah.
Don't give it away.
don't give it away. Uh, but I'd like to. Aaron and I, we had an incredible dream experience together, and I'd like to just read right from the hangout. Um,
I got to jump in really quick.
Hey,
I
influence.
Hey,
Influ.
I don't agree with trying to do personal identifying body marks from live chats from other people's chats, because then you're kind of putting people on the spot, and anybody in the live chat can then sit there and try to pick apart each person's anatomy.
That's a
So
good point.
I would just caution that that's not really wise, and it's not fair to put each other on the spot with that.
That's a
Hmm.
good point. Influence. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and it's nice to meet you, Crystal, and I look forward to chatting with you. And I'm really sorry that I said hi in the chat, but in the Dream Team chat, but I have really been busy. And then some of my dreams have just been way over the top, and I haven't wanted to post, or they've been really long and in detail, and I haven't wanted to type it all out. So,
Hmm.
but I
No,
will.
no
I will.
worries.
I
Do
will.
it. Do it.
I will. And Josh, now you have to admit that writing out all of your dreams like that has a good, profound experience.
Yeah, it's definitely made it more intense.
Okay, good. I'm just glad you're experiencing that.
Yeah, and I'd like to jump right into this dream that Aaron and I shared.
Also, hey, influence. I'm sorry I missed your message in the chat. My dad
Oh, no
called, so
worries.
I stepped
No
away.
worries. And I shouldn't have asked you to do it anyways. I should come in here and do it myself.
No, you're good. I'm just happy you're here.
Well, the thing is that here's the thing. Somebody can be over in these side chats, and then they can start really making this personal.
it
And
colors it. It colors
yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
and then why do you want to even know our identifying marks? It's none of your business. It really isn't.
I
No
and
personal identifying marks is anybody's business in the chats. And I'm not, and I am saying it kind of in a bitchy way. Forgive me, but it's just wrong.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. I mean, you can have the opposite opinion and say, "Bitch, you're crazy. It ain't wrong," you know. But I'm just saying, like, I just feel like it's invasive.
Well, I mean, considering what we're doing, Influence,
No, we're not doing invasive body marks.
it's not about it being invasive. It's about making identifying features or identifying things
This person
in a dream state
this
that
person
couldn't otherwise be identified.
is this person in your chat doing the dream stuff with us?
No, not that I know
Okay, then
of.
it's
No.
none of their business. It's none of their business her identifying marks.
Whether Look, anybody that all right, look, even if they're not
Why don't you do a remote viewing then? Why don't you do a remote?
no, hang on. Even if they're not actively engaging in our personal little experiment here, it's not that's irrelevant. The fact that someone
Rufus, can you tell me if you have a mole on the tip of your dick, please?
I do. How'd you know, Influence?
Do you have a heart-shaped freckle on your asshole?
Well, I haven't seen my asshole, so if whatever's on my asshole, I don't know what's there.
Do you get the point of what I'm saying? It's really nobody's business identifying marks.
Well, if somebody in my chat says, "Look, I had a dream about this person who's in your thing," and they nail it, like absolutely nail it, I think that's worth noting. I think that's worth paying attention to.
And that aspect is worth noting. If it was from a dream and they said, "Hey, this person in your chat, I had a dream about them," yeah, and there's some hits there. That's where
but don't go fishing.
Don't go fishing.
Yeah, don't.
I think that's what Influence is saying.
Yeah, because it like it kept going on. Like it wasn't like you just said, "Do you have this mark?" You're like, "Well, is it here? Is it located here?"
Well,
and then
okay. I'm just trying to.
And you said it best, Rufus. You said, it's a dream, so it doesn't matter where it was.
Yeah, it could be left leg or right leg, but nevertheless, if somebody had a dream that say, "Hey, I had a dream about you, Josh, and you had a birthmark that looked like the cross of Christ on your leg," and you said, "Which leg?" And I said left, and you said, "No, it's my right leg. I actually do have a cross on my right leg." I would call that a fucking hit.
Oh, absolutely. And that's
left leg, right leg is not relevant. I mean,
and again,
who cares?
to tie that to Robert Monroe, he talked about out of body experiences. He checked his own body to make sure it was his body because he was freaking out. He'd feel somebody breathing on his neck when he'd leave his body. And it turned out it was his own self. He couldn't recognize himself.
But like earlier,
but wait, and then he went and he knew his toenail was fucked up on his right foot. So he feels around and the toenail on his right foot's normal, but on his left foot, the toenail's just how he had imagined it. But he said he didn't understand it, but he knew that was still him. So things can get skewed like that and obscured. So I don't doubt that.
Yeah, but let's also remember that earlier, Erin had a dream on the iceberg where she claims to have seen me and was a guy wearing red. And I confirmed that I do wear red in the winter because I've got this red LL Bean overshirt that I always wear.
I wasn't like, well, do you wear maybe like a green shirt or maybe is it red?
Yeah, don't go too far into the details.
She's not fishing, right? Exactly.
Just leave
it.
I
had a dream and I gave you the details and whether they were wrong or right. That's what they were.
Well, no, and I'd like to jump right into this dream that, and I'm going to pull it right from the Hangout. It was December 16th. Erin wrote, and I was at work at this time, and she wrote, it was at 12:25 p.m. Dreamed I was in a white van with Archie in big white letters stenciled and spray paint on the back window. We were all in a van and we drove in some sort of guerrilla group. Then later, Josh and I were fixing up this old fire station to be our new house we bought for $700 a month in the middle of a wiped out town, like Chernobyl-esque. There were these weird clown-faced raiders like in Borderlands, and they were attacking us. We were up in the second floor windows, picking them off with rifles. It was dope. And at 102, I said, "Holy shit! When I get a chance, I'll type my dream." We had a super close related dream. Wow. And we hadn't talked all day. This is our first time, and we lived together, but this is our first time talking. And I said, "Okay." So Erin and I were in a town that was like post-apocalyptic. We were moving to this old house in the center of town that was big and nice and needed work. We were warned about these people that were almost like zombies, but they talked and kind of had weird makeup. They were drawn in by noise at night, and this was a fucked up dream. It was fun though. There was a black guy that showed up to drop off rations in a van type vehicle. It was white with blue accents. Erin Varg and I were in the house, and she turned on some music. I got super mad and said, "You're going to attract the people." Sure enough, they were standing outside the door, so I grabbed a 22 rifle and I noted I could be more accurate and take more shots faster. But they started piling into the house, talking gibberish. Someone said, if you don't stir them, you can blend in with them. Some people even live amongst them. So instead of shooting them, I walked slowly between them, and they were surrounding me, talking. So slowly, I pushed my way outside, and there were some people sitting in a car. I asked for help. One guy laughed and said, if you buy me a Ferrari F50, I'll help you. I offered my guitar, and they came into the house and started killing people, but it drew in about 20 more of them. They had a girl on the ground, and she was screaming, saying, I'm not one of them. She had a pistol. I said, that's my pistol. I grabbed it, but it was an air pistol. Then I turned. Then there was like a family of the weird people sitting in the living room, and the people who helped said, it's your fault that this had to end like this. I asked Erin if she knew what we had to do, and she said no. I said we had to burn down the house behind us. So I started grabbing a few things to save because time was short. I grabbed all my books containing knowledge, where some Mexican woman walked out and pointed to a shelf to put my books on. By this time of the dream, dawn was breaking, and I was running back to the house to burn it down. I was running really weird and heavy, and the sheriff dropped to me and said, "Don't run," or stopped me and said, "Don't run like that, or you'll stir them up. If they get you, become one of them." Then I woke up. But then I went back to the fucking dream. Part two of this dream. I woke up, went to the bathroom, about 15 minutes, laid down, went right back into the house, and was telling Erin we had to go. Then I woke up again. Part three, back in the fucking dream. I go back to sleep. I'm in the leaving Erin at a new location. Take her car and weirdly drive from the back seat with one of my old friends, and Vaughn. We go to the gas station, to a gas station, and I'm grabbing supplies, and people are scrambling. It's super crowded. I buy a few things, and my friend buys a pack of smokes with the card, but it's taking forever. The woman behind the register says, um, has a can of something wide, and says, I'll let this go for 100 pennies." A dude runs up and grabs it. Then she starts putting all these weird appliances on the shelf she's giving away. I can't really explain them. We go outside and get in the car, and then there's a huge skate park with people all around, and my friend is saying we have to go to a dog park. I said we don't have time, and said have to leave I'd leave him if he didn't hurry. Then I get back to the back seat of the car, realize it's dumb, hop into the front seat, trying to remember how to get back to where Aaron's at. Then I woke up feeling like dog shit. I still don't feel good. So
Right.
this is a long ass detailed dream.
Detailed. Yeah, it really
I
was.
woke up and went back to it 3 different times.
I do have a question though.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, did you and Aaron happen to watch within the past 48 hours of that any apocalyptic
No.
movie?
I don't watch anything.
I
don't watch
I
shit.
was just curious. Were you listening? Okay, were you listening to a song, or were you guys working on lyrics relation to apocalyptic and zombie?
I don't think so. Aaron, you want to add
I
anything?
mean, those are what, maybe after time, was it after Time and Decline?
It was, Time of Decline had been done, yeah.
I don't know, no. Like
Well, the reason I ask is because you know how when you watch something or you're doing something, it can trigger the dream.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, for
So
sure.
it would
But
be
the white
interesting.
van.
It would be interesting if you guys had worked on a set of lyrics or did something, and it resonated so strongly with both of you
Yeah.
that then it came out in both of your dreams. That would be
But
really
now,
wild.
the hits in that dream, okay, they were different. And Aaron, I'd love to, you read
Well, you
it.
guys
and
had the white van. You had
the white van with the blue
apocalyptic
letters.
stuff. Yeah.
And The apocalyptic, the
And
weird creatures.
the zombie like state of creatures.
Yeah, she said they were like clowns. I said they were weird zombies with makeup on. And it's, didn't we talked about it after the fact, and I'm sure we could have colored it from there. But that's without any coloring. I'm at work, she's at work. This is what I wrote. That's what she wrote. And so to me, that's an automatic like, okay, we hit something. Um, and I don't know what the fuck it is, but that was a long ass dream, and I felt like shit the whole next day.
And it was weird because like the dream, in my version of the dream, I kept I didn't sleep very well that night, and I just kept coming in and out of it. Like I would wake up and I'd fall back to sleep and it'd be like a new part of it, but it was always like it was my take on it, and I don't know, it was weird.
It was
just
different. It was different, but it like how I
because
explain
one of
it.
the things he talked about that I remembered after he had said it, that I didn't include in what I said, so believe it or not, but at one point he said that I was playing music and it pissed him off. Well, one of the things I was doing in the dream when I said we were fixing up this old fire station, one of the things I was doing was I have a record collection, and I was arranging the records on this shelf under a row of windows in the fire station, and I put on one of the records. I didn't remember him being mad at me about it in the dream, but that happened in my dream, and I think that's crazy.
Yeah, so we had all of these hits together, and it was, that's what we're looking for. But the thing is, like how I explain it is that you're in a place and your mind puts its confines around it.
Yeah.
It interprets what you're seeing. So how I feel about it, and this is just woo woo or whatever, but how I feel about it, we were in the same place, we saw the same thing, but we interpreted it slightly differently from our own subjective reality.
Yeah, every person has their own lens.
Exactly. Great way of saying that, Chris.
Yeah, the fact that you guys had the same sort of thing going on with the van, the
Shooting,
color, the apocalyptic, the weird creatures. I mean, that I would consider that a good hit between you two. A good
sure.
link
Definitely.
between it, for sure.
and now it makes sense. We fucking live together. We sleep in the
Well,
same
and
bed.
you're working on music together, and
Yeah.
you're working on lyrics and stuff together. However, the fact that it happened to you guys at the same time, and you are living together and resonating between each other is cool.
Yeah, it was just interesting in that one. I mean,
Gay.
I've got a mountain of dreams that
Did
I've
you
been
just say
with.
gay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she did. I gotta go
Oh,
take a
that's
pee
funny.
again. I'll be back in a minute.
Again.
Celery's setting fire to our iceberg, by the way.
I'm looking for it.
Global
Then.
warming is going to ruin
But I
it
would
for
like
us.
to add, and that's the thing. I feel like all of us are open to including other people in this, but it has to really be like you have to be serious, and you have to not want to color. You have to be objective enough to say, okay, like I was wrong. This wasn't a hit,
Right,
rather than
right,
color it,
right, right,
and reach for it.
right.
So I'll be back in a minute.
Now, I want to touch on what Josh just said about reaching for it, not coloring or over embellishing. Now, it's one thing to say that, Aaron saw a guy wearing red, and then I pipe up and I say, well, I normally wear red. That could easily be a coincidence. There were other features that Aaron identified that I missed, that I totally missed out on, and that's my bad. But again, like what Josh said, you sort of have to be serious and you have to be objective. You have to sort of suss out what is subjective and maybe coincidental, right? And that's why we have our little group hangout where we report our dreams to each other, and so we have a metadata, we've got timestamps and everything attached, right? And that's why I'm not going to reveal to you the identifying markers for a crystal shaman, right? Because she told me what she looked like. So if anybody in the panel, Influence or Aaron or Josh or anybody else, if you guys have a dream and you say, well, there was this person and they looked like this, I can say, holy fuck, you just saw a crystal, and I can prove it because she told me what she looked like, and here's the email. You know what I mean?
Well, and the other thing is too is that I don't know what she looks like, but the thing is there could be other things that get triggered in a dream that might let me know that I'm dealing with crystal. For instance, I could literally be seeing crystals in relation
Oh, yeah,
to any
right.
kind of medicine wheel or shamanism or anything,
Right.
and knowing her name, and being into the dreams the way I am, I would probably likely recognize, oh, okay, her name Crystal Shaman was triggered in my dream, and therefore this is the relation to her.
Or even shaman. You might have a dream
Well,
about some Indian shaman.
shaman would be a bit harder with me, because Josh is always been big into the shamanism and stuff. So I would more than
Right.
likely link that specifically to him. But the crystal part
Okay.
of it, I would probably be linking to her.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But
Yeah.
do you remember what I said like a couple of weeks ago when we spoke about the voices, right? Because I personally, when I lay down, I try to remember your voices or remember having a conversation. And so in my mind, I can hear the sound of your voice and the tone and sound of your voice. And I remember you specifically, you said, oh, I never even considered the voices. And so I'm very glad to have her here so we can at least hear what she sounds like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. I was on the live chat in the first stream, so I've heard y'all's voices before, but
Hell yeah.
this is the first time y'all have heard mine for sure. Any of
Well,
you.
I'll read you guys my dream from last night. I texted it to Josh. I don't know why I didn't just put it in the hangout. So I sent in this today at 11:22 a.m. I had a pretty crappy dream that we were on separate ships sailing out of the country, and I was trying to get to your ship. We were waiting to board together and literally got ripped apart and shoved onto different boats. Now, just for a little more emphasis on the atmosphere, it was like we were in this like freezing ass cold port town with these huge fucking ships everywhere, and people were just like crammed towards them like cattle. And it was super windy and stormy, and like the ocean was, white capping, and it was terrible. And then Rufus, you were there, and you were with a short, chubby woman with faded red hair, and beady little eyes. And then Varg was with me, my dog, but he was a person and not a dog. He was helping me scheme to steal a lifeboat so I could find you. He was tall and dark-haired and looked like Danzig in the face. That's what I dreamed about last night, and it was super intense and awful. I was trying to get I felt like I went to sleep last night knowing we were going to do this tonight, and I had the idea. I was thinking of the iceberg, so at least I got to the water,
Right.
to the
Right.
ocean.
That was an emotional dream for you.
It was awful, but it was cool to see my dog. He looked like Danzig in person.
That's
Person
funny.
form. He was a strong, silent type.
Mine was really weird. Mine was a dome house. It was sort of finished, but it wasn't. And for some reason, it started raining really bad, which I think it was actually really raining out last night. And all of a sudden, the roof started feeling like the roof wasn't stopping the rain, like it was coming through, but in the misty raindrop form through the ceiling. And I got irritated because Tim wasn't around to fix the roof, because he actually used to be a roofer.
Oh man.
And all of a sudden I just said, well, fuck it. And I left the house and I decided to go examine the grounds because we had just moved in this place, right? And I didn't even know my land or house. And all of a sudden and this is weird, I ended up underground in this humongous, I'm talking just enormous facility underground that was all white, and it had like these people and children that were messed up that needed help, and they were there hiding to get help, and I was letting them use all that for their their life. Like they had this life under there that they were all doing their thing to be protected from the world somehow.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, just let them be, because I didn't know they existed. But for some reason, I was just like, let them be, let them do their thing, you know? And then I left there and I ended up outside, and there was all these maintenance men that were working around there. And for some reason, they were going to plot to off me.
My goodness.
And then I woke up.
That sounds very similar to Aaron's observatory dream with the weird off people that she was from a couple nights ago. That's interesting.
Yeah, I've been having dreams where I feel like I'm in a different world. Have you guys had
Yeah,
anything like that?
and I, you know, and again to quote Robert Monroe, he talks about this place called Locale 3, which is, you know, Locale 1 is our reality here. Locale 2 is thought to action, the fourth dimension, if you will, and Locale 3 is places that are very similar to here, but things are different. Like they don't fit the same way. Machines are much different. Maybe they're, and he did all of this outside of dreaming. This was actual out of body experiences that he was having. That and but in my dreams, it has felt very much like I'm going to the places that Robert Monroe describes. These weird places with people, but things are so much different. It's a wild. All of this is wild, and I just want to say I really enjoy doing this. It's I'm stoked about it. I feel like it's taken my dreaming experiments to the next level, and I'm right on the precipice again of having that lucid dream experience and I'm ready for it this time, because things are happening like it did before, where I've had dreams about this. I've had dreams about this while I'm dreaming, and that's always the lead up for me to when I have lucid dreams.
Yeah, influence. I did have a one that was underground, but um it was not like yours. And this has been in the past, probably about the past 2 months. I don't remember exactly what day because it was, before I started this dream experiment project. Um, I was in tunnels underground, and I was running like the wind.
Right?
And I knew these tunnels, obviously, like the back of my hand. It was almost like, I mean, what most people would probably refer to as Agartha. But it was like I belonged down there. I knew the tunnels, I knew where I was going, and I was running like the wind. And I, while I'm running, it's almost as if this is kind of hard to explain and put in words. I didn't so much per se feel like this was a dream. I can't even identify what this was. It was almost like I was behind myself and ran um, energy body or something into the back of. It was almost like it was me from another incarnation, and I was, or a piece of myself that I was uniting with, because I went into myself from behind. And then as I kept running, then I came to where the opening of this was to the outside of the rest of the world. And I don't know why I was running so fast. I wasn't scared. I wasn't upset. It was quite a joyful experience.
Right. Do you
So
know why
yeah,
you were running?
I don't know why. I just felt an urgency to get to wherever this opened up out into the daylight,
Oh,
and
okay.
I just went to where it opened up out into the daylight, and that was it. I didn't go out or anything. I just felt an urgency to get there. It wasn't out of fear or anything. Nothing bad happening.
But you were having fun doing it.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
I know
yeah,
what you're
because
saying.
I was literally, I mean, probably if anyone had tried to catch me, they probably wouldn't have been able to catch me. I was running that fast.
Yeah. Isn't that's fun, isn't it? That
It
is
was
really
fun.
fun. Yeah.
It was fun and it felt wonderful. And it especially felt like a merging of something. You know, I don't know how else to explain it.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Right.
It's a lovely experience when you get to do that.
And see,
Hmm.
now this leads me to where I think this is where it takes us, is that what we physically see in this reality is not all that there is. There's something else. We don't understand it at all. But there's something else that we experience, whether it be in dreams, out of body experiences, or even weird states of consciousness living. Um, I think it's verifiable that there is something else that exists that we can't comprehend from our current state of being for some reason. It's
Josh, you're
Well,
cutting out to me a little bit, just so you
really.
know. And while they're talking, it's cutting out.
Am
you
I
know,
cutting out at first?
no,
Huh.
you're fine.
Okay.
It could just be a connection thing.
Yeah.
You know how there's what are those free runner guys that leap onto
Parkour.
buildings? Okay,
Parkour.
yeah, okay. So now imagine what they must feel like being able to do that.
Yeah.
To be able to run and to just almost like
Maneuver.
fly and maneuver. I mean, that's got to be an extremely exhilarating feeling. It's like skydiving has its own exhilaration,
Hmm.
you know,
Or
or
skateboarding.
skateboarding,
Yeah.
right, or surfing. But if you're not somebody who does that and then you dream it there's this a great feeling like a weird type of freedom to be able to feel that experience. But I imagine those free runners and stuff that's got to be pretty intense to know that you can just run and leap and bounce and hit this and hit that. And I mean, now granted, you could fuck up and really get hit hard and hurt,
Yeah.
unlike in a dream where you're going to be okay. But still, that feeling, that knowing of that ability, um, it releases something within
Well,
you.
and but when I
Dream.
was lighter, when I was about 50 pounds lighter, I was, and about 10 years ago, I was into parkour because, I was a skateboarder. Of course, natural connection to that. And it is very similar feeling with skateboarding. And, you know, I, I still have dreams about it. And what it comes down to is the word I like is intent. You have to know you're going to do it before you
Yeah.
ever attempt it.
Can you guys
It's
hear me
like in a
right now?
dream. You don't ever even think about, you don't mess up. And if you do, it's like, oh, you kind of just ragdoll and it doesn't hurt.
You guys can't hear me,
Um,
can you?
you have to know and you have to make it
You can't
happen.
hear me, can you?
And I think that feeling, and even with our music, it's the same thing. Anything you do, you have to have the intent behind it and make it
You
happen.
guys in the chat can hear
And
me,
you have to
right?
trust
But
it
the panel can't hear
and
me?
say
Is
fuck
that what's going
everything
on?
else. Like skateboarding for me, I could get really hurt doing this stair set.
Dean's dude says
Fuck it, I'm
yes.
gonna
You can
do it.
hear me.
And I'd land it. And I'd make
The
myself
panel
do it.
can't
And
hear
I
me, but
just
everyone
trust
in
it.
the chat can
And
hear
it would
me.
happen. And it all lines up perfectly. I think from what I've researched and my
Oh
own
God,
experience,
okay.
that that sensation in real life connects to the other side, but it's a lesser value here. When you do it there, it's so much more direct. Um, and energy body. Crystal said energy body. I like that word. I try to not woo woo anything anymore. I was guilty of that in the
Okay, how about
past. Now I'm
now?
trying to be more practical.
How about
But
now?
energy
Can you
body,
guys hear me
second
in the
body,
chat right
whatever,
now? I'm double
mental
muted.
body,
I got
whatever
my
you want to
microphone
use.
muted and I got the
It
hangout
is
muted. Can you hear me
definitely,
now?
from my experimentations and
Can you
my
hear me
own
now?
research, it is a thing that must exist. And
Really?
that, to where it leads me
Really?
is,
You can still hear
well, now
me?
I see this. What the fuck is death? Because, you know, like
I got my mic
it's
muted
kind of got me
and
in
the
a weird
hangout is
place over
muted
it.
and you can
I don't
still
know. And
hear me.
what's Rufus doing? Did he run off?
Don't know.
Oh, he's still there.
No, I'm here, man, but I'm dealing with my chat right now because it appears that they can hear like everything going on. I've got my microphone muted, I've got the hangout muted, and people in my chat can hear what's going on my end.
Well, you sound different now. You've been fandangling some things.
I didn't fandangle anything. All I did was mute and unmute. I didn't. That's all.
You sound normal to me.
No, it's
Oh.
like people in my chat are complaining because they can hear me lighting cigarettes, they can hear me breathing, right? They can hear me coughing, and everybody in my chat is
because
telling
you're
me
not
to.
muting an OBS. You're
Yeah,
muting
your
on.
OBS isn't muted.
Yeah,
Oh,
your OBS isn't
well, you
muted.
know what the fuck? I mean, I got the hangout chat muted. I got my microphone muted.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
like, can you still hear me? And everybody in my chat's going, yeah, we can still hear you.
yeah, it's because you're not muting your mic in OBS. So yeah.
Okay. Sorry. All
Can
right.
they
Sorry.
Can they hear us?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They can hear everything.
They can hear us
Especially
between
me.
Rufus fidgeting.
Rufus is mentally sending you the birthmark of his ass cheek.
How many
Away from
Let
cellulite
us
the
know
dimples
when
do I
you
technology.
dream
have?
about it.
Oh,
No, you know,
damn it.
one of the things that I've been I'm kind of new to Facebook, so I added a bunch of people mainly to push our music, and I post the podcast over there too. It doesn't do much good, to be honest, and I've made contact with people I knew in the past, but I see a lot of people when they talk about Crowley and they talk about a lot of like Hermeticism and shit like that. But these people, from everything I've seen, are so fucking goddamn self-important about it. It's just like, ooh, look at me, I'm reading this book. I want you to know I'm reading this book. Isn't that fucking cool? And it's like you aren't getting the message from any of this shit. And to me, Crowley, I had a discussion with somebody about this. Crowley is the most self-important motherfucker. Yeah, if you want to know how to do rituals, cool. I suggested Gurdjieff, who is of the same time, who teaches, our helplessness and our sleeping machine state. And I had some good feedback from that. But at the same time, it's like there's a lot of people that talk about this stuff, but they always fucking manipulate it into some bullshit. And I've tried not to. They color it, and I got that word from the Betty book. The Betty book, wonderful book, written in 1913, between 1913 and 1939 by Stuart Edward White and his wife Betty, who would put herself into a sleeping state, much like Edgar Casey, and experience these things, and that they called the invisibles, an alternative intelligence that she could tap into in some weird way, much like Edgar Casey. And they would come at her in different ways. It might be auto writing or like a trance state. It would always be different. And they said that they did it differently so is that people would not color what they were saying. And I really liked that word because upon reading that, I realized in the past I had been guilty of coloring things and making it. Aaron, do you know what I'm trying to say, girl? Like I'm trying to like.
I understand. I do understand what
I
you're
want to
saying.
make it clear though. Are you still there, Aaron? She.
What?
About coloring. What's another way to say this to make it more like
Influencing.
Yeah.
influencing? Yeah, you personally influence what you're perceiving,
Right,
and
affected.
yeah, and that's something that I've really grown to try to avoid, to rather just experience it and tell it for what it is rather than me put my own personal interpretation or coloring
Well,
of
and if
it.
you're trying to be honest with what you're doing, you have to give yourself as strict of guidelines as you can.
Yeah, and I and people out there, if you'd like to have a list of books to read, I am more than happy to share some wonderful, wonderful books with you that are not woo woo at all, that are very practical and that are much along the lines of this. This dream experiment for me, it's not the be all end all. It's just an aspect of my own growth. It's something that's happening. Not, I'm not focused on the dream side of it. I'm just letting it happen, and it does happen along the way because of what I'm doing on my own personal work, and just and I'm going to shut up in just a second, but something I've noticed in the past few weeks, I've had several people hit me up, and Rufus being one of them, saying, "Hey, I respect the shit out of you. You done good." And it's like, wow, I wasn't even trying to do that. I'm just being myself. I'm working on myself, and I've had people from being on Facebook now coming at me like, I'm really proud to see where you're at, and I'm like, wow, I didn't. I can hear
Yeah.
you. I
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can all
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh boy.
You I'm just proud you haven't broken out the bag of chips yet.
Yeah. Or
Right?
The Klondike bar too, yeah.
That was
Yeah, you're not supposed to be breathing heavy in the mic and sharing those kind of dreams with us, Rufus.
Well, I'm sure that they can't hear you if you've muted yourself in OBS. It's like Zero said, it's not that hard.
Yeah, they must not be able to hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, if you want to mute yourself, just mute in OBS. Mute your mic in OBS. Yeah. Yeah. But there you go. You're an old man with a cell phone. Yes. Indeed.
That's okay. When you guys very first started the show and started talking about being pros on Google, I was being a smartass in the chat with Celery going, "Oh yeah, they're pros all right while they share their screens."
Yeah.
I was being a smartass.
Yeah, I've made mistakes.
Okay, so apparently it did work. So if I mute myself in OBS, then on my end, all my people in my video, my chat or whatever, they can't hear me when I mute the OBS. But I got like I muted myself in Hangouts, and I also muted my headphone specifically, and my chat people were telling me they could still hear me. I'm like, what the hell? So okay,
I
all
am
right.
going to tell you, Rufus, I did notice that on one of your videos, and it might have been the first dream stream, but yeah, I could hear everything you were doing, breathing,
I know.
lighting a cigarette, all that.
All right, all right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm an old man with a
No
cell
worries.
phone.
It was so bad, Rufus, that you didn't even have to fart. You could just think that you were gonna fart, and we knew you
You
had
guys
to.
knew I was going to fart before I
Yeah.
farted.
It means your OBS mic is too sensitive.
It's super sensitive. So, all right.
Yeah.
So I got the mic cranked away from my mouth. So maybe you don't hear my nose and me mouth breathing or whatever I'm doing.
I'll have to
I
get
mean,
you
look,
set up.
dude,
I have
people
to
in my
get
chat
Dude,
were
you know
telling me
what?
they could hear me type. They were telling me they could hear
If
me
you
type.
buy yourself a nice blue Yeti microphone, you can just set that shit off to the side, and it won't even. It'll be so nice.
Dude, my
Yeah.
chat people were telling me they could hear me type, and I got a keyboard that does it. It's not loud. My keyboard is quiet. I
Are
could barely.
you on a laptop?
Yeah, but
That's
He's
why.
on a laptop when he's on a
Yeah, that's
stream
why.
because I've heard him type too.
You know what? I bet what's
it's
happening
not even that
is that your
loud.
laptop
We can
mic.
hear you though when you're doing that.
To
God,
you,
that's
it's not
amazing.
that loud. To you, it's not that loud, but your microphone will pick up all that
God,
stuff.
that's
Right.
And
amazing.
I bet that your laptop microphone is engaged in OBS is why it's picking up, because
Oh,
we don't
maybe.
hear it. Yeah, that's
But
what.
you
Well,
know what though? A lot of laptops, even if you disengage, still are so sensitive that they just pick shit up.
Yeah, not if you disable it.
all
You
right.
got to just disable,
Then
because
he
are you
needs
on a
to have an
headset?
external mic.
Are you on a headset?
I am.
Yeah,
Yeah, so your headset's picking up and your mic from
Oh,
your
okay.
yeah,
laptop's
but
picking
even
up.
your headset mic might be too close to your mouth and nose and everything.
All right. Well, I've got it cranked up. It's away from my face.
For anybody out there who keeps a laptop or a PC at home and you're not traveling with it, get rid of your headsets and get a nice external microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I use
That is the best advice I
I
can
use
give
a
you.
much different setup. I actually use an interface and a recording microphone for my setup, but that's
It's
because we have a fucking recording studio, so of course I'm gonna do that.
Yeah,
It's like,
but I don't have a recording studio and I refuse to put a headset on
well, I
because
wear headphones. I
yeah,
wear
no
studio
headphones, but I'm
headphones.
talking about where your mic is.
Yeah, no.
No, these headset microphone combos, you know, you think it's fine, but to a lot of the people listening, they're like, could you just fucking mute? Because we can hear your beards, we can hear your chewing, we can hear your breathing, we can hear your thoughts.
Yeah,
And
I
now,
wear a headset, but I mute
Snot
between
ready to fall
everything I
out your
say.
nose.
no, and that's the thing. Aaron has a gaming headset, so it doesn't pick up as much either. And Crystal's setup sounds great too. You know, it might be a little low, but it's probably just the way she's kind of soft spoken. But it sounds great, you know. And she's just using the mic from her phone and having
Hmm.
headphones in it, and it sounds great. You don't hear any background noise or anything. Sounds great.
I've been trying to be really quiet so that no one can hear anything else.
You
well,
sound fine,
On a
totally.
I'm
phone,
getting a
it's
lot of
different
heat.
though. That's a phone.
I'm getting a
That's
lot of heat from my chat right now. They're
But if
telling.
you're gonna use a laptop and a PC at home, there's really just no reason to use
The internal microphone. Fuck that.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't even have an internal microphone in this PC. Like, I mean, I've got my studio setup is wild and wacky, but it's got a lot of things running everywhere. So it's a different. But here's the thing: like my setups is because we record music, so it's like already there to do a podcast. Like you can.
Everybody with a headset with a microphone is hating me right now. Fuck you, Influence.
Well, I know. I'm using a headset, and
But you sound good in Hangouts. You
uh,
sound. I mean, well,
No,
it
you
doesn't
hear
sound
everything he
great.
does in
no,
Hangouts. You hear everything.
my chat can hear my breathing and my typing
But
and
I
But
like
can
we
hear
everything.
that.
can't.
No, that's not true. I hear that when I'm in Hangouts with him.
Okay. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. My guess is you've got two microphones running, and I had to troubleshoot this when I
All
started.
right, all right, all right. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. It's my bad.
No worries. I
All
can't
right.
It's all
hear
right.
that. Yeah,
Rufus,
I can't hear
Rufus is
any of that on this stream, but I heard it in one of his videos or when I was on that live chat. I
Yeah.
could hear him lighting up cigarettes, breathing, typing, everything.
Holy crap.
and the thing is that Rufus, you're not a poor man. You can afford a nice Yeti.
Now, yeah, I can afford a decent mic.
Yeah, so
The-
grab yourself a
but
nice blue Yeti,
And I'll help you set it
that
up.
shit in, set that shit up, and that'll be really nice.
I'll help you set it up, Rufus.
But that's what it is. And Lanny just said turn off laptop mic. It's a technical thing. It's somewhere in settings. I'm going to have to disable one mic. Apparently, like Josh said, I might have two microphones operating at the same time.
I
Mhm.
had
And
that
so,
problem.
so when
I
I
had
want to
that.
mute myself, it's like if I mute my headset, you guys can't hear me, but my chat can still hear me.
Because your laptop microphone is still picking it
But
up.
you guys, if my laptop is still picking me up, you guys still can't hear me.
But it's an OBS.
Well, see, that's what it is. So now I got 3 fucking mute buttons I got to hit if I want to mute myself.
No, all you really need to do is just buy yourself a nice Yeti microphone, hook it up once,
Triple
and you'll
mute.
be golden, man.
That's
And
what
even
I got a
there's
triple
a
mute. I got a triple mute.
get the $50 blue snowball. I have one of those, and I use that for a long time.
And the other
it,
thing that's nice about that, Rufus, is that if you want to leave the room and go, you can still talk and people can hear you from across the house.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, this suit is sensitive. It can absolutely hear because somebody was a minute ago, somebody was saying they could hear my dog chains. My dogs got up and went outside and Nancy took the
Well,
dogs
the
yeah,
out.
thing
And
that's your mic.
somebody was like, yeah, I hear your dogs rattle in chains. And I was, holy crap. And I was
That's
typing, and my keyboard is not a loud keyboard. It's really a soft keyboard. And yet somebody was saying they could hear my typing.
well, you know
because your
how it is
They
laptop
though.
mic
can.
is big
You know
They
how it
can.
is when a laptop's engine starts going off and it's like the fucking space station's ready to rumble.
Yeah.
And people are like, man, your computer sounds like it's ready to take off. And they're like, oh, I don't hear anything. It's, you know, we don't hear our own hot mess, which is really funny. We don't hear our own hot mess, but everybody
Right.
else hears our hot mess.
Yeah.
So just the
All right. So everybody, I'm sorry I derailed the whole conversation with my sound issues.
way it is. Right, Lanny?
I'm sorry, Lanny and everybody. I'm an old man with a cell phone.
And you know that Lauren will be really happy if he doesn't have to say it's not so hard there, Rufus.
I know, right? Lauren is always the first one to give me a hard time.
Lauren gives everyone a hard time, by the way, about muting.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Lauren's the first one to give you a hard time.
Yes. Lanny has some nice, expensive fucking microphones for his studio.
All right. So where were we, everyone? I'm sorry I derailed the
Well,
conversation.
Josh was telling us how much he's getting great compliments from.
Facebook.
I'm trying to be as quiet as I can while I inhale my cigarette smoke. So I don't have to mute 3 buttons because right now I haven't gone into my settings and figured all this shit out yet. I'll get it worked out one of these days. I'm sorry, everyone, but there it is.
It's
You'll get it one day, man.
yeah. It's all good.
I listen. Our one friend comes in the Hangouts, and I just would be so thankful for the day that he buys a real microphone and just sets it down next to his laptop and would quit using his phone and his headset because he uses that phone and headset and running water sounds like a typhoon coming through your ears. And listen, I'm not even wearing a headset. Okay, this shit's not coming into my ears through a headset. And it is so loud, painful to listen to when they're cooking their dinner, their water is running, they're chewing their food, and they think that it's not loud. They have no idea how loud it is to everybody.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of amplified.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So where were we? So let's get back to the conversation.
You were getting ready to go on to Amazon and buy yours. I'm just with you. Celery says ride to the store on your Bigfoot and get a Yeti mic.
Celery said what?
Store on your Bigfoot and get a Yeti mic. Gandalf will accompany to just to make sure Yeti doesn't.
I'll get the new Bigfoot mic.
I've had mine for 6 years.
So where were we before I interrupted the whole flow?
Well,
Everyone was talking about dreams and such, and then I think Josh was talking about being on Facebook.
people are glad to see Josh's new direction going and working with the music, going with the flow that he's going with, but I think we were,
Direction.
yeah, I think we were good with that. And
Well, I did have a dream last night, but unfortunately, a situation I'm having to deal with came into my mind, and my dream just went away. So couldn't put anything in the reporting today for that.
So,
Apologize.
So Crystal, have you gone to the trouble? Have you created a? Did you make a paper with a number and a word and maybe also an image? Have you created one of those? Put it up somewhere in your house?
I have a paper that already has an image on it, but I need to add on it what you're saying, the other things.
Yeah, a short word, a short number. Keep it under 4 letters or 4 digits. Keep it simple.
Hmm.
you guys are changing the rules, by the way, since the night that we said this, because the night that we said this is what was said. Think of an object that you're going to bring to a picnic on the iceberg.
Well, that's separate though.
Well, this other one, by the way, I never was told about this number thing and this word thing and putting something up on the wall, so I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I think that's a different kind of separate thing.
Yeah, because we were supposed to bring something to the picnic. We were supposed to think of a word, and we were supposed to write both of them onto a note card so that we can't change it.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So here's the parameter, just to be clear. Um, I took a piece of paper. It's a 8 by 12, not square, but a rectangular piece of white paper. I wrote a short word, a short number, and with a little bit of space left over, I drew a very simple and but yet easily identifiable image. Okay, I drew a easy to pick out picture. So I've got this piece of paper and I hung it up in my carport. So it's literally outside. You don't even have to come in my house. If you're in a dream and you come to somebody's house in a dream, you don't even have to come inside. It's literally right there as you enter my house. It's in my carport. It's hanging up. Okay. So if you have a dream and you see or something you're going to read, right? Because we all have this thing where we're starting to be able to read stuff and identify letters and numbers and things on signs in our dreams, then okay, if you report to me that you saw a sign that said XYZ, like I said to Josh earlier, I said, I saw a sign, I saw a number 7, it had green and one of the corners was missing. And Josh reported back to me that his image does in fact have green and one of the corners is like torn off. So I call that a hit, big time.
Yeah.
I got the number wrong. I didn't get the word, but I got green and I got a missing corner. He didn't say anything like that earlier, right? So boom, I call that a hit. Okay, so that's the thing. So take a piece of paper, a clean sheet of paper, white paper. Take like a black Sharpie with big, in thick, dark letters. Make a short word, a short number, and maybe draw a picture of something
What
simple.
if what if I've already got something hanging on my wall that addresses all of these things, but without the number, but the number is automatically linked to the image anyways?
That's probably fine.
Yeah, because
Probably.
I don't want to hang anything on my walls.
I know,
I
right?
like my walls.
I know, right? Well, Josh has his in a drawer.
Does he?
Yeah, he put his in a drawer. It's not
Well,
hanging up anywhere.
mine is already on my wall. It's part of my decor, and I won't tell you or give you any clues, but it addresses under it addresses 4 letters and under, it addresses a color, and it addresses a number within the image. Or within the 4 to under word. Uh that word specifically is linked to a number.
Hmm.
Haha. Okay, so there's my 3 there. Now, what about the thing that we were supposed to be bringing to the picnic? Has nobody been working on bringing anything to the picnic?
I forgot about it honestly.
Did you?
I'll be honest with you. I keep forgetting about that as well.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I knew we were supposed to bring something with us to the iceberg.
yes.
One or two things.
Yes. That's
I have a
right.
hard
We're
enough
supposed to
time
have
taking myself there.
a word, a word, a word, and an item to the picnic.
I thought it would be a good idea to bring two items. One item that would be very personal to you, and one item that would be so bizarre.
Bizarro.
Yeah, bizarre. The kind of thing nobody would fucking carry. So, because dreams are crazy, right? And if you had a dream and you said, "Look, I saw this guy, and he had like this bouncing baby with a giant red head, this big balloon baby, this baby with a balloon head that was giant red balloon for a face, something crazy, like, because dreams are fucked up. So I was thinking something that was personal to you as one item, something very personal, and then something that was just like crazy off the wall bizarro. And that way, when somebody reports back and says, "Hey, I had a dream about this guy who had this or that," you could say, "Well, these are my items." And by the way, for anybody who's participating, you have to create a file. You have to do something to document the items you intend to bring. That way, you can prove those are your items.
And now a good way to do that is take a photograph on your cell phone because it has metadata attached. It'll show the date.
You
and
don't have
time
to
it
take
was
a
taken.
photograph. You can imagine something. You can create a file on your computer
Yeah, and write something down.
and just
Yeah.
write it down and say, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
well, that's
carry XYZ, and then your file has the metadata.
it has the properties, so if it's ever been changed, we'll know exactly what
Yeah.
date and time you changed it.
Exactly. Right. So even if you because if you imagine something crazy, so like if you imagine you're going to carry something that doesn't even exist in real life, you can't take a picture of that.
No, I'm not changing my stuff just because you guys got lazy.
No,
and
no, no, no,
forgot
no,
your
no, 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 no,
shit.
no, 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 no. No, it's not. No, I'm just saying if the item you imagine, if the item you want to bring is something that doesn't even exist in real life, if you want to imagine or create something like a purple unicorn with green farts, something off the wall and crazy, right?
Look
You,
at
you could just write
quit
it down in a
programming
file.
ideas in our head, Rufus.
I'm not trying to front load.
And the alternative to that again would be to write it down on a piece of paper and take a picture of it.
Well, yeah, if you wrote it down and took a picture, that would work.
We get the point.
Yeah.
Bring your item, bring your stuff to the picnic. Then, as far as your other thing,
But document.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is to document so that when somebody reports back, you can say, "Look, I created this file, and these are the items I intended to bring, and therefore we can call that a hit."
which I did the night that we talked about it a month ago when we did the chat.
Okay, so there it is. So influence, all you need to do now, well, I know you don't want to hang stuff on your walls or whatever, but like Josh.
No, the other thing, this is separate from the picnic stuff and the iceberg stuff. The other thing where you're talking about 4 letters and under with a color with a number associated to it, that is already hanging on my wall, and I'm going to keep that separate from the picnic note card with the item that we're bringing to the iceberg.
Okay. Yeah, they're separate.
So I'm not sure if I stepped away for a moment, but did Aaron happen to read that bit?
No, not yet.
Okay, Aaron, did you happen to find that?
You're buffering
Yeah,
quite a bit, though, by the way, Josh. I'm not sure.
I have no idea why. You know what pisses me off? I just fucking got my internet bill and it was $100, and they charged me $20 extra for the internet I've had, and it's fucking premium 300 megabytes per second bullshit. So I shouldn't be buffering at all. But, yeah. So Aaron, you did find that?
Yes, I did.
I would love you to read that.
Let's see.
And this is from Robin Monroe's Journeys Out of the Body, his first book.
Okay, it kind of picks up in a weird place, but it was at this point that I discovered the existence of an underground in the United States. The only factor missing is that no laws exist against its function, nor is there official persecution and prosecution involved. This underground only occasionally intermingles in part with the worlds of business, science, politics, academia, and the so called arts. Furthermore, it definitely is not limited to the US, but infiltrates all of Western civilization. Many people may have heard of it vaguely or casually, have come in contact with it, and passed it off as just people with queer ideas. For one thing is usually certain: members of this underground who are respected in their communities. One sec. Members of this underground who are respected in their communities don't talk about the interests or beliefs that qualify them for membership unless they know you two are in the club. They have learned from experience that to be outspoken brings censure from their ministers, customers, employers, or even friends. I suspect the membership may run into the millions, if all would admit to their qualification. They are found in all walks of life: scientists, psychiatrists, physicians, housewives, college students, businessmen, teenagers, and at least a few ministers in formal religions. This group meets all the qualifications of an underground movement. They gather in small groups, quietly and often semi secretly. The events are often publicly announced, but you have to be with it before you can understand the notice. The participants usually discuss affairs of the underground only with other members. Other than family or close friends who are probably also members, the community doesn't know of this secret interest in life of the underground member. If you asked him, he would deny such membership because often he doesn't realize he really is so associated. All are to some degree emotionally and intellectually dedicated to a cause. Finally, the underground has its own literature, language, technology, and to some extent, demigods. And then I'm going to skip this bit. And he says, this underground is highly disorganized. There is no organization whatsoever in the usual sense of the word. Rarely even have the local groups gone so far as to adopt a title or a name for themselves. So far, they are simply small but regular gatherings held in someone's living room, or a bank's conference room, or quite possibly a church rectory. This group of individuals is groping in the dark and seems to have many diverse pathways, yet the goal is the same for all. However, like other kinds of underground movements, if you have become a member and you visit another city, you inevitably meet other members. It isn't planned, it just happens. And then this says, the mass underground looks to professionals for information and guidance and gives them something akin to hero worship. Anyone who writes a book, organizes a foundation, conducts research, has a major experience, studied with a great professional, gives psychic readings, conducts classes in mind or soul development, heals by faith, is an accredited astrologer, minister of divine science or spiritualism, trance medium, outer space saucer devotee, hypnotist. These are all professionals. Most derive all or part of their income from this activity. Many have deep professional jealousy for each other and often are inclined to be suspicious of techniques and theories propounded outside their particular activity. They may even subtly deride or look with tolerant, superior amusement at results unrelated to their specialty. This could well explain why, as of now, there is no organization in the underground. Yet, in spite of themselves, the professionals are drawn to one another. Their common interest forces this. There are others with whom they can share their thoughts. There are no others with whom they can share their thoughts and experiences as equals and with understanding. This is not in any way intended to cast aspersions or discredit upon the professionals. They are a completely fascinating and wonderful group of people. Each in his own way, whatever it may be, is seeking after truth. What a dull world it would be without them once you have become a member of the underground.
It's so beautiful, and again, much like here this meeting tonight, this underground. We've got what 15 or so people watching. It's publicly announced, but you'd have to be with it to know it was even going on. So I read that too, and then she was like, "I love this," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great." because
That's cool.
she's reading it
Okay,
behind me. Go ahead,
I'm sorry,
Crystal.
could you say what that is from?
That's Robert Monroe's Journeys Out of the
Okay,
Body. Yeah,
okay.
It's a
wonderful book.
beautiful book.
Beautiful.
Mm.
His trilogy is just wow. It's wow. It takes what we're doing. And if you ever heard of binaural beats, he was the inventor of binaural
Mhm.
beats.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, he's done more work on out of body experiences than anybody I've ever read. I mean, you have Eastern yogis and a lot of New Age kind of talk about it, but he was a practical man. He
Yeah, he
was a
came at it from a really pragmatic
yeah,
perspective, and he didn't understand it,
and he
but
didn't even want to talk about it because he was afraid it would make him look crazy. And
yeah.
you know, he describes in that book going to a party and a business party because he was a radio producer in the 1950s, like a big time producer. And one of the wives came up to him and said, you know, would you sign your book for me? And her husband said, you know, I never do a business deal without her reading first. And so he felt a little more accepted and available to talk about it. He was worried, and really he started out having weird experiences. He went to a doctor, he went to psychologists. He's like, am I crazy, am I dying? And they were all like, you're healthy, just keep exploring. And we have the works that he presented to us, and it's very easy to read and very warm and good. I definitely recommend to anybody Robert Monroe. And he ain't into the woo woo either.
Yep, he does sound very good.
A beautiful man. And there's a lot of interviews of him out there on YouTube. If you just are curious about him, look up Robert Monroe. He just talks about where he came from and who he is. Um, yeah, him and Edgar Casey are two of the big and out there. I'm sure a lot of people are aware of Edgar Casey, but he was you know, in the Library of Congress, he's got over 10,000 entries from his psychic readings. He was a Christian man and he loved Jesus more than anything, but he could tell you specific details of what was wrong with you from a medical aspect, and he was almost illiterate. Um, and he would do it in
Mhm.
a trance like state.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
he
I,
could see people's issues.
yeah, and without
Mhm.
even knowing how. And
Mhm.
um, there's a lot of books like the Betty book, which I mentioned is a great representation of that, of just this pure raw connection to whatever it is. And I think that's really my message of all this evening is, like you said earlier, you know, you realize that at a certain point that this is more than just a physical reality, that we're tapping into something we don't get it totally. And
Yes, and the more that a person develops their self, you know, the more you can see through the veil.
absolutely self and that goes back to Gurdjieff's teachings. Self mastery leads to this. One of
Mhm.
the things I liked in the Betty book is it said, you know, she would do these things, and it was recommended not to try it. It said that you should never seek out these abilities, that maybe they will come along your journey, but to seek them out bastardizes their purpose.
Correct.
And I
Yeah.
like that.
Everything I was shown wasn't anything that I was trying to
Hmm.
do. So,
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, guys, I'm getting pretty wound down for the evening. You
Well,
guys,
before we go, I just wanted to remind you guys that I did make it to the iceberg.
we've all, I think, made
Yeah,
it to the
you made
iceberg.
it there like in a
Mhm.
rock climbing fashion.
Yeah.
And and we just haven't like I haven't met you guys on it.
Hmm.
Now then when I made it there, Celery was when picking on me about me picking an iceberg. And then he says, you're gonna a polar bear's gonna get you and it's gonna chase you down and get you. And I said, no way, I'm gonna end up snuggling, it's gonna be my friend. And then so I got to the iceberg and I ended up snuggling the polar bear. And it was just funny because what he said and then what I said, it did influence the dream. And uh but but I was having a problem at first getting there, and I ended up watching that new TV show, His Dark Materials, which is based on a movie where they try to steal the children's dust because it's magical.
Hmm.
And part of that movie is where they stop and pick up this polar bear, and it goes with them out to this icy north like area, and it's an awesome warrior polar bear. So that's what I went to sleep watching too. So between celery and me talking and then that TV show, it helped to bring me to the iceberg with the polar bear.
Yeah, and Aaron has made it to the. I mean, we've all made it there to a degree. Aaron, I think, had the most hits in regard to that. Mine, I was there by myself, and I was hanging on like there's nowhere to fucking stand.
I
And
It's an
had
hanging on.
iceberg. You could stand all sorts of places, but you just wanted to climb it.
It was
That's
like a
why.
spire. It was a spire standing out of the water
Oh,
with nowhere to
you
stand. It was
probably were
slippery.
stuck in I Pet Goat too.
No, it was just like a spire sticking out of water, and there was nowhere to stand, and it was slippery. That's what I got
wow.
from it.
Yeah, you
Well,
remember in I Pet Goat too, the iceberg is
Hmm.
like a big giant spire.
I do remember that. Now that you say it. What'd you say, Crystal?
I haven't been there, so I'm fairly too new yet to like. I need to home in more, like in on that.
Well, I'm glad to have you on board. You seem right up the alley for, and one of the reasons I pushed Aaron to bring up that underground story is because I felt like, it really connected to all of us, and especially you coming in too, Crystal. Like it's just this that connection to it, and I like some of the things you said. Like you're still, you're trying not to color it, and I think that's the
Mhm.
biggest
Mhm.
the thing that we all need to be trying to do, being objective as possible to whatever fucking happens, and I love it.
Right.
But just I mean, this is not any dream thing. This is just my uh vocal analysis. You sound like you're a southerner yourself.
A little bit, yes.
Okay, yeah. Aaron and I are both in Tennessee, so I can pick up on a little southernness.
Well, I've
Yes.
had a couple of dreams where I was on what might be an iceberg, because there's two ways to look at an iceberg, right? There's
Hmm.
there's the flat, there's the flat,
The
like,
flat
That's where
slabs.
I
Yeah.
was the flat.
and then there's the their mountain type, where it's all spiky and pointy, right?
Hmm.
There's two different ways to look at an iceberg. So when I've had at least two dreams where I was in a very icy environment where it was cold and dark and flat.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I was thinking of the way influence is a flat slab.
Yep.
That's what's in my
See,
brain.
I don't think of it that way. I see a big spiky mountain sticking up out of water. One of the
Well,
things I did
if
want
you want to be hanging by your
to.
fingers from it,
I mean, Aaron and I I'm into rock climbing, and I've gotten Aaron into rock climbing
mm,
recently. So
well, maybe that's why
yeah.
it
Yeah,
appealed to you
that's
like
why I
that.
was picking on him, saying you just wanted to climb it.
But one of the things I
Hmm.
wanted to add from all of this before I forget, I've had two experiences of actual. Well, no, more than two. I've had several in the past since we've been doing this of having physical feeling in dreams. The two most notable would be when these rockets were taking off, and they were like model rockets, and one exploded into my neighbor's garage across the street, and it blew up, and a hot piece of plastic stuck into my face. And somebody said, "Oh, don't worry, you'll be okay. It's just plastic." But it was like a hot burning sensation. And then a few nights ago, I was walking my old dog, who now lives with my aunt, who did live with my, long story, but a little corgi, and I was walking him, and there were bees everywhere, and a bee landed in my hair, and I could feel its buzzing in my hair, and I have long hair, so I felt its buzzing on the back left side of my head, and I was kind of freaking out, trying not to get my dog stung, because in real life, at one point, he did get stung by a bunch of yellow jackets, and it kind of
Hmm.
fucked him up. So it was, I've had several weight, feeling coldness of items, just
Hmm.
since we've started doing this experiment. It's taken it to that next level.
Yeah, I have in a dream or whatever it was, have felt something that was done to me in the dream. So
It's strange because before, what triggered my lucid dreams was always something physical happening and saying, "Oh, I didn't feel that. I'm dreaming." And so now it's kind of weird because I'm feeling physical sensations and it's not triggering me to know that I'm dreaming. So,
yeah,
um,
I had an experience where I was, I think someone was after me in the dream or whatever, and I think I was on a motorcycle. I was on a motorcycle, ripping away from them. But anyway, they shot at me, and they shot me in the hand. And when I woke up, there was a white spot on my hand there.
hmm. Now, question for you, Crystal. Have you ever had an actual lucid dream to where you know that you're dreaming?
Yes.
Okay. So every one of us here has had those
Well,
experiences.
my problem, well, I don't, I shouldn't even call it a problem. I'm very thankful that I'm at this point in my life. Um, every time I'm dreaming, I actually know I'm dreaming
Right.
Mm.
all the time.
You're aware
I
in your dream that you are dreaming.
constantly aware that I'm dreaming. I'm always able to say, don't even worry about this. I know you're worrying about it, but it is just a dream and it'll pass and go, like
Hmm.
if it starts to become frustrating at all, I just know.
Well, and now I have those too. It's not every time that I'm dreaming, but okay. And even since we've been doing this, I've had some dreams where it's like on some level I knew I was dreaming, but I didn't take control. And that's the key, to take control, to have an objective in that dream state. Like, for one, for me is finding my hands, looking down at your hands, looking up around the world, finding your hands, looking up around the world until you can't do it anymore. I've had that experience once, and that was about a year ago. But other than that, I've had dreams where I know I'm dreaming, but I just don't fucking do anything. Where I'm like, I like this dream, I'm having a good time, and that's actually limiting to the cause, to you know,
Mm-hmm.
diving into just the dream rather than saying, I have an objective. This is what I'm going to do. So that's what I'm working on. It's Erin's had plenty of fucking lucid dreams too. She does great. She's a natural at this, and it's and even Rufus, he's had many lucid dreams in the past. I think one of the problems is as we get older, it's something about it. It's harder to maintain our attention in those places.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Maybe for men, I think anyway.
I've also done the same thing as what you were talking about earlier, where you wake up, do something, go back to sleep, and you just pick up your dream where it left off.
Yeah,
you
that's
Yeah,
a
know,
cool
it just
thing.
continues on.
yeah.
That is what I've learned to call dreaming attention. You have an attention in your dream, and you can maintain it. Because most people, from what I found, they talk about dreams and they can't. Oh, I don't remember it, or I can't. It's just abstract. And I think that being able to have an attention in your dream to where it's not just abstract, it's got a cohesiveness to it. It
Hmm.
maintains like our real world. It's like you're in that fucking place, and that's something I find that you can develop. A lot of most people don't care about it.
May
It's
I make one recommendation, even though I'm going to say this half jokingly, but with sincerity?
okay. Yeah.
Um, if you do wake up in the middle of a dream and you happen to have solved a major problem or have a major life epiphany, do not go back to sleep until you type it in the dream
Mm.
team chat, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to go back to sleep and you're going to totally forget that you solved a major issue or problem.
What's crazy is I have woken up many a nights at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and before, like you said, I would have forgotten it. But because I've been writing them down, I remember it and I said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna write that down,"
Yeah,
and
but
I'll
you know
write
what
it
I'm
down, and
talking about when
I
I'm
know what
talking
you're
about like
talking about.
solving like a world problem, like
Yeah,
where
and you'll
you
be like,
get
"Damn
some
it, I
kind of
can't remember it." Yeah.
right, like or like you figured out some major mathematics solution that you think you wouldn't have even known, and yet you figured
Mhm.
out or you think you really did, like you, and maybe you didn't, but you wake up thinking, "Oh my god, I just figured that shit out," and then you go back to sleep and you wake up and you're like, I forgot what I figured out, and
Yeah.
it was an answer to a major life thing.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times.
I have
And I
actually,
used to keep a journal all the time, but then I stopped keeping the journal probably almost 12 years ago, I think.
yeah, I need to keep a journal, but this, where we're putting our stuff is a good thing.
Yeah,
Very
it's a
good.
great place. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have actually dreamed lottery numbers and I did not write them down.
Well, now
Oh.
I did dream lottery numbers one time.
Yeah.
469 was the numbers. And I woke up. I told my husband that he had to hurry up and get to the store and go play the take three for 469. He
Hmm.
looked at me because I sat right up. And this was probably like 1991.
Hmm.
And I just sat right up and I said, "You got to go play 469." And he goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I just had a dream, take three, 469." He went and played it and we won.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And then people say, "Oh, why can't you win the lottery?" And I'm like, I really wish I could, but you're given what you're given, you know? And this just
Right.
Well,
it
Right.
just
now
is what it
Edgar,
is.
like that's the thing. Edgar Casey had people coming to him because at first he just did to random people. He'd do it to anybody, and people would come and they would try to win the lottery off of him. And
Mm.
apparently they were successful, but it made him so fucking sick he couldn't do it anymore, and he quit doing it for a while. And then he actually had his secretary be the intermediary for them, and they would ask her the questions through him so to
Mm.
limit
Right.
these kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to dream these numbers. I just happened to dream them. It wasn't
Hmm.
anything I was trying to make happen.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you dream numbers and you can remember, write them down and go play them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I can say because I did it and it
Yeah.
worked the one time that
Well,
happened.
this was in reference to the big lotteries that
Yeah,
it was those numbers.
yeah,
Mm.
So, what do you guys think about the aspect of front loading?
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's coloring. That's what that is. It's the same thing as
Sure,
coloring.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is the same thing. So, I mean, somebody in my chat said that dreams are very often, they're created by the previous day's experience.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's an ordinary dream, but I like to say there's two types of dreams: ordinary and non-ordinary dreams, and it's
Well,
clearly
But,
distinguishable between the
but, but
two.
they can be mixed though. And in front loading, I don't see a problem with front loading because you can't avoid front loading because your daily experience and what you've watched and heard. Listen, our conversation tonight can front load us into a dream for the
Sure,
next, 24, 48 hours and even longer than that.
for
But
weeks or months.
typically,
Yeah,
yeah, but typically a lot of the stuff that will happen within the dreams is usually something that's happened. Look at besides your deep embedded life experiences like your parents and your family and your houses and your schools, your oh you failed a class and now you're back in school having to take that fucking class, like that kind of shit can be a lifetime, right?
it
well,
happens. It
Yeah,
happens.
this
but
whole experience, this whole experiment that we're doing is actually front loading, because
well, of
we're
course,
trying to front load, and we're trying to meet up on an iceberg. We're
right,
trying to meet,
exactly,
so we're definitely there's no question there's front loading involved in our
absolutely.
experiment.
Hmm.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, as long as one, you're honest that that's what you're doing,
Sure,
and two, um,
it's
that you're
intentional. It's
still,
intentional.
it's intention.
That's what
It
we're
is
trying is in
intention,
it.
and we are intentionally trying to get to each other, but where the difference is while front loading it, we do not know what each other's numbers, colors, items, or things that we're trying to bring to the other people to see. So we're trying to get somebody to see what it
It's an
is that we're
affirmation.
bringing as an affirmation that we've met
Yeah.
in the dream. Now, we might not really truly accomplish that, but that's okay. It's still fun as part of the process to learn to try to master yourself, anyways.
hmm and again, to blast Robert Monroe, he talks about a lot of this stuff. You know, he had experiences where he would go see people in his out of body experiences and try to see them. He's doing much like what we're doing, except not in dreaming, but in out of body. And you know, I can't recommend his works enough. I think especially anybody that's involved in this should read his works because they're the best you can find on it. They're the most honest, and I don't think you're gonna find anything that's more along the lines of what we're doing, and will get better information or ways to achieve results. It's I mean, all we're doing is shooting in the dark. We're reaching
You
in the
know,
dark.
Yeah.
I got a comment, and I think it's a really good point, and I agree with it. Adrian in my chat said something about in the morning when you're about to wake up, your dreams are the strongest. Your dreams
Absolutely,
are the
yeah.
Yep.
deepest and the most vivid. Right
Yep.
about right when you're about to wake up. And we've
hmm
all experienced this, right? We've all had this, right?
Yep.
So it's like when you're about to wake, the last few 30 minutes or an hour before you're about to wake up, your dreams are like the deepest, the most important, the most, intense and vivid, whatever.
We get it.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I just said we get it.
Yeah. So he's belaboring the point,
I'm
Aaron.
Beladling. He's
I'm
beladling.
I'm
He's
Beladling.
spooning it out one spoon at a
I'm
time. He's
beladling.
beladling.
I'm
Fuck
just
all
glad
you.
that Aaron said it this
Fuck
time.
all
We
you
get
guys.
it.
Fuck all of you guys.
She hasn't said anything in an hour, and there she is.
I'm just glad she was the one that said it this time. It's normally me saying, "Okay, Rufus, we get it."
All right, fuck all of you guys.
I love you, Ruth.
No, so I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm fucking tired. If you want to continue on your channel, I can in my side, whatever you
Well,
want
I
to
do
do.
want to say that I hope everybody out there had a great Christmas and the
Oh
new
yes.
decade. I mean, listen, we're going into a new decade, not just a
hmm
new year.
A new decade.
We're going
Yep.
into a new decade. We're literally now, partially into this whole century here
Yeah.
that's coming to
Decade, and
be
I'm 33 now. It's
in
like
2020.
in 2020,
And
I'm
And
33.
I
20.
So
See,
know.
that's. I was gonna say 2020.
The
I
2020 is freaky.
see that is
yeah,
it's a little bit freaky. I heard Jordan Maxwell recently. He was talking to Leo Zagami and was on Zero's channel. He was featuring Leo Zagami interviewing Jordan Maxwell, and Jordan Maxwell was talking about we're going into 2020, which is the hindsight is 2020, right? Our vision. We're
yeah.
supposed to be able to
Mm-hmm.
see new things. It's like ooh, right, woo woo stuff, right? It's like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know where they're going with this, but
well,
hey,
in the
maybe hey.
1900s, we had the Roaring Twenties, so who knows what
We're
kind
gonna
of stuff
have
will.
the. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna do a not nice non PC joke, so never mind. Hush my mouth up.
Why are you out for PC jokes?
No, I'm just from what I've seen in YouTube's new
Oh,
algorithm.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Oh
I'm supposed to be
Jesus.
careful now, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you
So,
guys saw my videos.
yeah, and I typed it in your thing, and it didn't show up for me either. So
Yeah, so I just wanted to say happy holidays, all of you. What was it I said? Something
heathen scum.
you infidelic heathen scum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for getting the video removed, Rufus.
Yeah, I just got everybody demonetized. Videos
Yeah.
are struck. We all got strikes on our channels.
Oh, my $2 a month is really, really, it's hurting now.
So,
Okay, so you're not gonna pay your rent now.
yeah. So, anyways, I I just hope everybody has, like, clearly New Year's Day is only a couple of days away. I mean, we're only,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're 5 days out here, and I just want to say to everybody, have a great New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. If I don't talk to people before then, and
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
hopefully by then Rufus has his mic issues settled for the new decade.
I think it's a
And-
setting. It's in my settings. I'm pretty sure it's a setting thing because
We're gonna get you set for the
I
decade.
shouldn't have to mute 3 fucking buttons just to make me shut up.
And forget to
it's like-
unmute two of
Because
them.
if I mute OBS, you guys can still hear me. But if I
Yeah.
want you and my audience to not hear me, I got to hit 3 buttons.
Yep. Triple mute.
That's fucked up. I shouldn't have to hit triple mute. That's fucked up.
Listen, you guys need to catch up with your technology before the technology is like gone.
Yeah.
Surpasses you, yes.
But hey,
Well,
real quick.
Just
Hey,
kidding.
real quick,
I'm
you
just
guys.
fucking with
Real
you,
quick.
man.
I don't want to spend an hour on this, but real quick, what do you think? How bizarre was it, that thing that I found in the video I made last week about
I didn't see anything.
you infidelic heathen scum? That comment absolutely will not go through. YouTube
Yeah,
will not
well-
allow that comment to post. How bizarre.
Did you
Yeah.
find out
Well-
which word it was specifically
not-
of those words?
No, I didn't, because we tried. Gandalf and I stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning, and we tried all kinds of combinations. It's not any one word. You can type a comment that has heathen, and they don't care. You can type a word that says infidelic, they don't care. You
What
can,
about the word scum?
oh, what if I'm talking about cleaning scum off my bathtub? Nobody fucking cares. It's
Did
not.
you type just the word scum?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
type scum regularly,
Yeah,
and I
we
get
did.
comments back.
Yeah, we did. We tried all kind of variations. Yeah, we did. It's not any word. And the only thing I can imagine. and
Well,
I'm
maybe the AI just feels like you're picking on it.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing now. I'm guessing. The only thing I can imagine is that maybe each word has maybe a score number attached, and when you have a sentence that has so many words that have so many scores for per word, then your sentence score reaches a level and then is triggered. I don't fucking know.
Sophia just doesn't like that you figured her out and you're just totally fucking calling her out. And she's like, screw you.
It
Well,
was
Rufus,
so.
I did see where you were talking about that scoring system, and that does make logical sense. But also, I know someone who knows someone who works at Google, and the new terms of service for YouTube, they were talking about channels that were going to be eliminated are channels that are using up a lot of server space and have very little growth to their channel.
Oh, that would be me.
Those those are some of the channels, but I mean, they've already started doing that. I mean, that person that I talked to actually told me one of their channels got deleted. But anyway, and the other thing was they were cracking down on what that other person was talking about, which is the similar thing of what you're talking about, and that is the bullying or the hate or the whatever they consider as, hate speech or hate video.
Yeah, no,
Skynet
that's
Oh,
common.
yeah.
or people.
I was chatting with Domingo, and Domingo and I were playing around with comments and trying to figure it out. And not only Domingo, but someone else as well. I forget who, but somebody else was telling me that the word goyim, Goyim, you can't use that word in any sentence in any context ever anymore. That is no longer allowed. Try it.
That's gonna make the wedge very sad that they can't call us that anymore.
Try it. Try it. Test it.
No,
See
I
it.
don't. I don't need to test it on
No,
Josh's
I'm just
channel.
saying,
I'm
if
a
you don't
good
believe
girl.
me, try it. I mean, seriously, we've already tried. No, goyim, the word goyim is not acceptable in any context at all, ever.
Like I said, that's going to make the wedge very sad that they can't use their favorite slang against us, I guess.
I've
All right.
never typed any of those words in a comment anyway, so
I've got to run it out. I've been up a while today, and I'm
well, Josh and everyone, and influence as well. Happy New Year back to everyone as well.
Absolutely. And it's been a
Happy New
pleasure to
Year.
hang out with you, Crystal. Anna, it's very nice to meet you and stoked to have you on board with us.
Great to have to be here, and thank you so much. I'm it's great to be included in this. I think it's an important thing we're doing.
Hmm.
And Josh and Aaron, don't be a stranger. Feel free to hop in the chat sometimes and say hi to
Yeah,
Celery and
we
I.
haven't, we haven't been, this is the first time we've been on a call since the last time we did this, a good 3 weeks ago.
Well,
So,
feel free to come in and just say Happy
yeah,
New Year or whatever.
absolutely. Hey, I said Merry Christmas. I think we both did.
Yeah, I sent you guys that card. I made that card.
Oh,
Wait,
It was
what?
beautiful. Are you
Yeah, that
talking about the
card.
one you put in Hangups?
Yeah,
Oh, I saw that. It was beautiful. It's exquisite.
thanks.
You
Yeah.
did
very
a
nice.
fabulous
I
job.
mean, I didn't paint it or anything. I mean, I went into the virtual world, into a magical place, and I was looking and I go, "Oh my god, it's so pretty." And then I go, "Oh my god, this can be like the perfect Christmas card." So then I took the pictures and then I made the statement and then I had them made into onto linen cards and they sent me the cards.
Oh,
Mm.
That's dope. I like them.
Yeah, and then on the
that
back
was
it has my
beautiful.
name and the year, and I gave those out to everybody in real life too. So
Well,
I
that's
wanted to
awesome.
share them with you.
So we've had some pretty interesting hits so
Yeah,
far in our little
and
experiment. We've had some pretty interesting
Super
hits.
Green,
Hmm.
zombies, apocalypse, icebergs. We've all, well, most of us have managed to get there, uh, but Crystal's new to this, and so, and now we all know. So go before you go to bed. Go write on your notepad what you're supposed to bring to the picnic on the iceberg.
That's what I need to do is remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
I'll make myself a new note card for the other thing with 4 letters and under a color and a number.
anybody have any closing statements?
Well, my two things that I'm bringing to the picnic are extremely easy to identify.
No, don't tell us
Don't
anything.
No,
give us nothing.
I'm not telling
Nothing.
you what. No, 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 no. I know better. I know better.
No, don't say nothing.
Don't color it. This ain't a
Don't-
coloring book, boy.
No, I'm just telling you. They're very extremely easy to identify.
No. I'm going to keep saying no so you don't tell us.
I'm not going to tell you. I know better.
You okay? Well, then I think we have enough information.
Yeah,
on
don't program us in any way.
All right. I'm not trying to front load nobody.
it.
Okay.
Anybody got any closing statements?
I'm just going to
Sweet
say
dreams.
one item is personal to me and one is off the wall. That's all. It's a
All right.
crazy item. I'm bringing two things, and for me, they're
We're
easy.
all supposed to be bringing 2 things. We're supposed to be bringing something to the picnic.
Something personal and something crazy.
All
No,
right.
it doesn't have to be
It
personal.
can be
or
whatever.
crazy.
It can be whatever.
It's
Okay,
supposed to be
all right.
bringing something to the picnic and then something else. That's it. That's what we agreed upon. That's what my original note card is. I'm not changing my note card. You guys have to keep with the original agreement.
Okay.
Fair enough. I'm gonna do the same. I'll do it tonight. I have to pick my 2 items.
Because I've already had this programmed in my head for too long to change it.
But yeah, hey, and please do write your dreams. I know it takes a long, and I wait.
I know.
It
I've
takes a
been
long time. It does
I
take
gotta
a long.
say, I really love this. I love that there's a group of people that are at least serious in trying this experiment, and it's fun. And even though mostly it's not much to talk about, a lot of times I don't remember my dreams. I just love the fact that there's a group of people that are at least interested in trying this experiment. So thank you guys
And
all
there's
for
some
being part.
interaction every day. Every day there's been some interaction, which has been
Yeah.
awesome.
So two thumbs up and thank you all and much love.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes. Sweet
Happy
This
New
is
dreams,
Year,
the last
everyone.
the last Friday of the decade. So
I know it is.
yeah,
Oh my
mhm.
God. It's the last Friday.
So I'll see you guys next year.
I'll see y'all next year. This is
Right.
we'll
All
have
right.
the best podcast of the year next time we talk. So
All right. Night.
Yes. Sounds good. All right. Well, you all take care, and I will speak with you all offline. And Rufus, I'll send you an email.
All right.
Yeah, do that, please.
Much love, everybody. I'm gonna play the song one more time when I leave here, just because I want to. So.
All right, all right. Take us out, Josh. And I guess I'm gonna have to go over to your channel, otherwise it won't come through on my end.
All right. Much love, everybody. And here we go. New song in the process. Peace out. Much love.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I guess I'm gonna have to go over to your channel, otherwise it won't come through on my end.
All right. Much love, everybody. And here we go. New song in the process. Peace out. Much love.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Here we go. I'm going to play this little toony tune. Let's give you another logo to look at. Oh, whoa. There we go. I'll give you that one to look at. Here we go. Final song for the evening. New song we're working on.